For some reason, as soon as Lu Ming arrived at the Mo family, he felt that there was something in the depths of the Mo family that was attracting him. To be precise, it was attracting the Nine Dragons bloodline, making it feel as if it was cheering. What exactly does the Mo family have? It actually caused the Nine Dragons bloodline to jump for joy. Looks like I'll have to stay in the Mo family for a while longer. Lu Ming looked in that direction, deep in thought. After pondering for a while, Lu Ming returned to his room to recuperate. Just like that, 5 days passed in the blink of an eye. After 5 days of recuperation, Lu Ming's injuries had completely healed and his cultivation had returned to its peak state. To be able to fully recover from such a serious injury in just 5 days was extremely shocking. This was completely dependent on the divine level cultivation method, true dragon tactics, and his rank 5 physical body. In these 5 days, Mo Ying often came to visit him, but she did not mention a word about treating him. I wonder what the local customs of the Yinhua Empire are like. It's rare for me to come here. I'll take a look. Lu Ming smiled, then walked out of Mo Ying's courtyard and casually strolled around Su Tian City. Su Tian City was really big. In the Burning Sun Empire, among all the cities that Lu Ming had seen, only the Burning Sun Empire was bigger than Su Tian City. On the streets, there was an endless stream of powerful martial artists. Around the streets, there was a forest of shops. There were all kinds of strange things, some of which were specialties of the Yinhua Empire. Lu Ming had only seen them in books before. Now that he saw the real thing, he could not help but buy some. Little bastard, stop right there. Lu Ming had just strolled for a while when a cold voice came from behind. Lu Ming turned around and a sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. Wasn't that Mo Bing? Mo Bing's face was gloomy as he strode towards Lu Ming with 4 big men. Little bastard, who are you calling? Lu Ming said lightly. Of course, little bastard is calling you. Mo Bing said coldly. Oh. So it's little bastard calling me. Hello, little bastard. Lu Ming said with a smile. You. Only then did Mo Bing react, his face was livid. The 4 big men behind him almost could not hold back their laughter, but looking at their slightly trembling body, it was obvious that they had a hard time holding back their laughter. You have a sharp tongue. Do you want to die? Mo Bing's face was incomparably ugly. He stared coldly at Lu Ming and said, I think your injuries have almost healed. In that case, quickly get out of the Mo family. Mo Ying's courtyard is not a place where you can stay. The longer you stay, the more miserable your death will be. Oh. Is that so? I'd like to try. Lu Ming smiled, not caring at all. Brat, have you taken a fancy to that girl Mo Ying? Do you want to hit on her? Let me tell you, that girl Mo Ying is someone that the young prince likes. If anyone wants to hit on her, he will be going against the young prince. Only death awaits him. Mo Bing threatened. Little prince? Who does he think he is? Lu Ming said lightly. Mo Bing's face suddenly changed and he shouted, Boy, you're courting death. Men, break his legs and throw him out of Su Tiancheng. Yes. Behind Mo Bing, the 4 big men responded in unison. They took large strides forward, emitting powerful auras as they closed in on Lu Ming. 9th layer martial master realm. The 4 big men were all 9th layer martial masters. Whoosh! Whoosh! The 4 big men attacked together, aiming at Lu Ming's hands and feet. They were going to cripple his limbs in one blow. Bang! 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 In the next moment, 4 crisp sounds could be heard. 4 tall figures were sent flying far away and fell to the ground. Each of them hugged an arm and cried out in agony. It was the 4 big men. At this moment, one of their arms was twisted into a fried dough twist, broken into 7 or 8 pieces. Mo Bing was stunned. He kept blinking his eyes, thinking that he was dreaming. The 4 martial artists at the 9th level martial master realm had their arms broken in an instant and were sent flying. He did not even see how Lu Ming did it. How was this possible? This person that they had randomly bumped into on the side of the road who was about to die was so strong. Was he a martial ancestor realm genius? You said you were going to break my legs. Lu Ming smiled and walked toward Mo Bing. Mo Bing's expression changed greatly. He could not help but retreat and shouted, "You, what are you trying to do? I'm an elite disciple of the Mo clan. These servants can't compare to me. If you dare to touch me, I won't let you leave Su Tiancheng." However, Lu Ming was not moved at all. He walked toward Mo Bing step by step. Cold sweat started to appear on Mo Bing's face. His eyes were filled with fear. In the end, he screamed and turned to run. Lu Ming smiled coldly. He flicked his finger and shot out a few streams of energy, hitting Mo Bing's legs. Chapter 323. Both of Mo Bing's legs were broken by Lu Ming, and blood flowed out. Mo Bing wailed again, and even tears flowed out. Around them, a large number of onlookers were shocked. Mo Bing was a genius disciple of the Mo family and was very famous in Su Tian City. Who was this person who dared to break his legs? Many people looked at Lu Ming and secretly guessed. What are you shouting for? Now, get out of here! Lu Ming shouted angrily. The 4 burly men struggled to get up as if they had been pardoned. They used the other hand to support Mo Bing and ran away. Lu Ming did not care and continued to stroll on the street. After strolling for a while, he went back. As soon as he returned to Mo Ying's courtyard, he ran into Mo Ying. "Brother Lu, have you recovered from your injury?" Mo Ying asked. Lu Ming nodded and said with a smile, "It's almost healed." That. Mo Ying stammered, wanting to say something but hesitated. Lu Ming smiled and said, "Let's go and see how the true qi in your body is." Okay. Mo Ying was overjoyed. "Then to my bedroom?" "Or to your bedroom?" Lu Ming asked. Ah. Mo Ying was stunned, and then her face turned red. After pondering for a while, she whispered, "Let's go to my bedroom." Lu Ming nodded and walked to her bedroom with Mo Ying. Mo Ying's bedroom was decorated very elegantly, with a faint fragrance. The two sat cross-legged on the bed. "Miss Mo, there may be some presumptuous actions later, please forgive me," Lu Ming said. Presumptuous actions? Mo Ying's face turned even redder, and her big eyes were misty. Lu Ming was speechless. This girl was too shy. "I haven't started anything yet." Mo Ying took a deep breath, as if she was going to throw caution to the wind, and said firmly, "Go ahead, I'm fine with anything." Anything? Lu Ming's heart could not help but flutter. A man and a woman alone in a room, and a young and beautiful girl said, "Go ahead, I'm fine with anything." This was too much for one's imagination to run wild. "I didn't mean that." When Mo Ying thought about it, even her ears turned red. The two of them stared at each other for a long time before they slowly calmed down. Then, Lu Ming and Mo Ying's palms touched each other. Lu Ming channeled a stream of true qi into Mo Ying's body. Mo Ying's genuine qi was strong and condensed, and it was unusually cold. However, within the cold true energy, there were traces of blazing true energy that intertwined with the cold true energy. In this way, Mo Ying's genuine qi would not be pure, which would greatly interfere with her cultivation. Sometimes, she would even experience alternating between hot and cold, which would be extremely painful. Only by removing the blazing genuine qi could Mo Ying's shackles be lifted. By then, Mo Ying's cultivation speed would be even faster. As expected, the true qi nurtured by the cloud dragon can actually take the form of a dragon. Chapter 324. Get lost. How dare a few lowly ants block the young prince's way? Are you tired of living? An old man with a big belly scolded. With a slap, Mo Ying's servants were sent flying far away and fell to the ground. One side of their faces was swollen and blood was flowing from their mouths. Behind the old man with a big belly, a young man in luxurious clothes with a sinister face walked in. Spare my life, young prince. I'm not lying. Miss Mo Ying is cultivating in seclusion. She told us not to disturb her no matter what. A servant girl in her 20s knelt on the ground and said, trembling. Not to disturb her. Who does Mo Ying think she is? It's her blessing that the young prince came to see her personally. What's more important than the young prince? Hurry up and report it. Otherwise, I'll kill all of you. The old man with a big belly shouted coldly and looked at the servant girl with a ferocious expression. Young prince, Miss Mo is really. Before the servant girl could continue, the old man with a big belly lost his patience and shouted, you're courting death. Bam! The old man with a big belly slapped the other side of the servant girl's face. The servant girl screamed and flew far away. When she fell to the ground, she was already unconscious. When the other servants saw this, they were trembling in fear. Hurry up and ask your miss to come out. Otherwise, she'll be the next example. The old man with a big belly pointed at the servant girl and said coldly. Creak. At this moment, Mo Ying's door opened. Lu Ming and Mo Ying walked out of the room. When the young prince saw Lu Ming and Mo Ying walking out of Mo Ying's room together, he was stunned. Then, his handsome face was completely distorted. He pointed at Lu Ming and screamed, little bastard, how dare you enter Mo Ying's room? What are the two of you doing in there? Damn it, damn it. And you, little bitch, I'm here to see you. Not only did you stand me up, you even shut yourself in for 7 days and refused to see me. I was wondering why. So it turns out that you're together with this little bastard. I'm going to kill you all. Hey, who are you? Why are you barking like a mad dog? Did you take the wrong medicine? Also, the two of us aren't married yet. We're just hiding in our rooms and doing what we need to do. What does that have to do with you? Lu Ming said indifferently as he glanced sideways at the young prince. The little prince almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Lu Ming actually dared to talk to him like that. Did he eat a flood dragon's gallbladder? Also, the little prince really wanted to yell that it was none of his fucking business. Of course, he forced himself to hold back. Brat, do you know who I am? The little prince took a deep breath and said slowly. He reckoned that Lu Ming still didn't know who he was. He wanted to announce his name to scare Lu Ming. At that time, he would kill Lu Ming and let him know what regret was. Who are you? What does that have to do with me? Lu Ming said indifferently. You, the little prince was stunned. He took a deep breath to calm himself down and said, listen carefully. I'm the only son of the Jinan prince, the little prince of the Jinan prince's residence. Then, the little prince looked at Lu Ming proudly, hoping to see fear, panic, and fear on Lu Ming's face. Unfortunately, he was disappointed. Lu Ming didn't react at all, as if he had heard the name of a cat or a dog. Lu Ming said indifferently, so you're the son of the Jinan prince. It turns out that the sons of the Jinan prince are all idiots. What did you say? You're courting death. You're courting death. The little prince was trembling with anger. He pointed at Lu Ming and kept shouting. Ah, bye. At this time, Mo Ying rushed to the front of the unconscious servant girl and checked her injuries. Then she looked at the little prince angrily and said, Little prince, I was just following my orders. Aren't you too heavy-handed? Heavy-handed? Mo Ying, she's just a lowly servant girl. She doesn't know her place. How dare she make excuses in front of me? I'm disciplining her for you. The little prince gritted his teeth to calm himself down and said coldly. Mo Ying's face was livid with anger. What place? You keep calling others lowly. In my opinion, you're just a good-for-nothing who relies on your father's power. Lu Ming said indifferently. How dare you? You lowly ant. How dare you call me a good-for-nothing? You're offending your superiors and committing a heinous crime. No one can save you today. I swear I'm not a man if I don't kill you. The little prince screamed hysterically. Lu Ming dared to call him a good-for-nothing. A lowly ant dared to call him a good-for-nothing. Rebellion, rebellion. Isn't it? You think you're superior to others. What do you rely on? Power or strength? Lu Ming sneered. I have power and strength. I'm born noble. How can you lowly ants compare to me? The little prince yelled. Is that so? If that's the case, you're just a piece of lowly shit in front of me. Lu Ming said. What? What did you say? Damn it. Kill him. I'm going to grind his bones to dust, skin him, and pull out his tendons. The little prince screamed crazily. Die, you little bastard. The pot-bellied old man had been holding back for a long time. At this moment, he roared and slapped Lu Ming's face. Although he was fat, he was as fast as lightning. His cultivation had reached the third martial ancestor realm. In an instant, he was close to Lu Ming and was about to slap Lu Ming's face. Brother Lu, be careful. Dodge! Mo Ying exclaimed. However, Lu Ming stood there motionlessly. Just as the pot-bellied old man's slap was about to land on Lu Ming's face, Lu Ming kicked out. It was impossible to describe how fast this kick was. When the kick was sent out, it arrived first even though it was launched later. It landed heavily on the round belly of the pot-bellied old man. His stomach had sunk in like a rubber ball, and his eyeballs were popping out like a dead fish. Ah! With a scream, the pot-bellied old man flew backward like a bloated rubber ball. Whoosh! Lu Ming moved and caught up with the pot-bellied old man in an instant, giving him a slap. Slap! A crisp slap was heard. The pot-bellied old man was sent spinning in the air by Lu Ming's slap and landed heavily on the ground. Boom! A human-shaped pit appeared on the ground. The pot-bellied old man was lying in the pit and twitching non-stop. Blood kept flowing out of his mouth. The whole place was silent. Everyone stared blankly at Lu Ming, including Mo Ying. The pot-bellied old man of the third martial ancestor realm was beaten half to death by Lu Ming as if he was an ant. Lu Ming was such a terrifying expert. Previously, although Mo Ying knew that Lu Ming was very powerful, she had originally guessed that Lu Ming should only be slightly stronger than her. However, at this moment, she knew that she was wrong. Ridiculously wrong. Lu Ming's strength was far beyond her imagination. Well done. Mo Ying's subordinates roared in their hearts. They were extremely satisfied. Previously, the pot-bellied old man was so arrogant and treated them like ants. Now, he was like a dead dog. Little bastard, how dare you hit my man? How dare you? Chapter 325. Who said I only hit your men? Lu Ming smiled and stepped toward the young prince. The young prince's expression changed greatly. He shouted in disbelief, What are you doing? How dare you hit me? You're offending your superior. You're treacherous. Slap. Lu Ming slapped him in the face. The young prince didn't even have time to react before he was slapped in the face by Lu Ming. He didn't stop until he spun 3 times on the ground. He stared at Lu Ming in a daze. He was completely dumbfounded. Lu Ming really dared to hit him. In the Yingyue Empire, the royal family had supreme authority. His father, Zhennan Wang, was the commander of all the troops in the south of the Yingyue Empire. It could be said that he was second only to one person. As the only son of Jinnan Wang, his status was so noble that no one dared to disobey him, let alone hit him. He even doubted that he was dreaming. However, the piercing pain on his face told him that this was real and not a dream. Therefore, he screamed hysterically, "Ah! How dare you hit me? How dare you hit me? You're dead. Your whole family is dead. No one can save you." Slap. Lu Ming slapped him again on the other side of his face. The young prince saw stars and was completely dumbfounded. He forced himself to swallow back a string of vicious words. "You said that you had power and strength and were superior to others. You regarded others as lowly ants and could bully them at will. But now, I'm stronger than you, so you're also an ant in front of me. Am I wrong to say that you're a piece of lowly shit?" Lu Ming stared at the young prince and said coldly. I. The young prince's face was swollen like a pig's head. He looked at Lu Ming in horror. No matter how stupid he was, he could see that Lu Ming was not afraid of him at all. He didn't know what to say for a moment. "What? You don't dare to speak? Where's your courage just now?" Lu Ming's eyes were like two sharp swords as he stared at the young prince. The young prince felt a chill run down his spine. He retreated and shouted, "What are you doing? My royal father's army is not far from Su Tian City. If you dare to touch me, not only will you die, the Mo family will also be buried with you." "Really? Then I'll kill you first. Let's see what your father can do to me." Lu Ming sneered, completely unmoved. He took a step forward, and a cold killing intent erupted, making the scene seem like it was winter. "No! No!" Two shouts rang out at the same time. One of them came from the young prince. He screamed in horror and was almost scared out of his wits. The other one came from Mo Ying. Lu Ming frowned slightly and stopped in his tracks. "Brother Lu, he is after all the son of the South Protecting Prince. If he dies in the Mo clan, the South Protecting Prince will be enraged and raze the Mo clan to the ground. Please spare his life, Brother Lu." Mo Ying pleaded. Lu Ming nodded and looked at the young prince. He scolded, "Seeing that Miss Mo Ying pleaded for you, I'll spare your life. Get lost." The young prince felt as if he had been pardoned. He ignored the pot-bellied old man and ran away, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming did not continue to attack. It was not that he wanted to let the tiger go back to the mountain. As Mo Ying said, he was not afraid of killing the young prince, but it would definitely implicate Mo Ying and the Mo family. "Brother Lu, I've implicated you." Mo Ying walked to Lu Ming's side and said apologetically. "Ha, what does this have to do with you? It's normal to meet brainless idiots everywhere." Lu Ming smiled. Then, they helped Bai treat her injuries. Not long after, an angry roar came from a luxurious mansion in Su Tian City. "Damned little bitch, damned bastard, die. Die. Damn it, if I don't kill you, I swear I'm not a man." In a hall, the young prince's face was ferocious. He roared again and again, smashing the tables and chairs in the hall. On both sides of the hall, there were 5 or 6 figures standing. They did not even dare to breathe. After a while, the young prince Yin Jiufeng gradually calmed down. "Young prince, it's all because of that little bastard called Lu Ming. I don't know what kind of drug he used on Mo Ying." When Mo Ying saw him, she seemed to be fascinated. "It's really hateful." A gloomy voice sounded. It was Mo Bing. At this time, his legs were still wrapped in thick plaster. Obviously, the legs that were broken by Lu Ming had not recovered. Mo Ying, that little bitch. I thought she was a chaste woman, but she turned out to be a slut. Seeing that she was about to die, I wanted to have sex with her first. It's a pity that such a beauty died like that. Now that she's with that little bastard, I can't wait to kill her immediately." The young prince Yin Jiufeng said with a gloomy face. Young prince, Mo-ing, that bitch, won't live for long anyway. But that Lu Ming, I didn't expect his cultivation to be so high. How should we deal with him? Mo Bing asked. It doesn't matter. I'll send a message to my father and ask him to send a master over. At that time, I'll make him beg for death. Yin Jiufeng gritted his teeth and said gloomily. In the next few days, Lu Ming continued to deprive Mo-ing of her yang qi. 3 days later, the yang qi in Mo-ying's body had been completely expelled. Mo-ing was relieved. Her qi became very active. Every day, her face glowed and became more beautiful. The Mo family martial arts field was the place where the Mo family disciples cultivated. As soon as Mo-ying's yang qi was expelled, she took Lu Ming to the Mo family martial arts field. In the middle of the Mo family martial arts field, there was a huge stone pillar. The stone pillar was crystal clear like jade. At first glance, one could tell that it was not ordinary. Brother Lu, this stone pillar can test my compatibility with the Mo family's ancestral inheritance. The higher the compatibility, the more I can get the Mo family's ancestral inheritance. In the past, when my yang qi was not expelled, I was the one with the highest compatibility with the ancestral inheritance among the younger generation of the Mo family. Now that the yang qi is expelled, I want to see how compatible I am with the Mo family's ancestral inheritance. Mo-ing obviously trusted Lu Ming and had no reservations about Lu Ming. The Mo family's ancestral inheritance? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He couldn't help but look into the depths of the Mo family. That place was the place where the 9 dragons' bloodline cheered. He didn't know if it had anything to do with the Mo family's ancestral inheritance. Mo-ing came to the stone pillar and immediately attracted the attention of some of the Mo family members nearby. Is Mo-ing going to test her compatibility with the ancestral inheritance again? She's already the highest among the younger generation. The ancestral inheritance belongs to her. What's the point of testing? Yes, her compatibility with the ancestral inheritance is as high as 5 stars. Moreover, the compatibility is innate. It won't increase over time. I really don't understand why she's here to test again. Around them, some of the Mo family members were discussing. Mo-ing ignored them. She placed her palm on the stone pillar and there was a flash of blood on her spine. Buzz. Chapter 326. Everyone from the Mo family was stunned. Their faces were filled with disbelief. After a while, there was a heated discussion. 6 stars. Mo-ying's compatibility with the ancestors' legacy has reached 6 stars. How is that possible? She used to have 5 stars. Unbelievable. The compatibility with the ancestors' legacy can be improved. I've never heard of such a thing. Even the ancient books have never recorded such a thing. Unbelievable. I'm so envious. Some of the young people from the Mo family were already incoherent. Creak. A white-haired old man walked out from a loft beside the martial arts arena. The old man was overjoyed when he saw Mo-ing condensing 6 stars on the stone pillar. He muttered, 6 stars, that's great. I've tried so many times and this is the most compatible one. This time, it will definitely succeed. Great things can be expected. When the time comes, the Mo family's status will definitely rise by a lot. In the martial arts practice field, Lu Ming saw the stone pillar shining and a look of surprise flashed across his eyes. When the stone pillar shone, he felt the 9 dragons' bloodline in his body stirring. It was very strange. At that moment, Mo-ing retracted her palm and looked delighted. True qi has become purer. The compatibility with the ancestors' legacy has increased. Mo-ing said happily. Lu Ming looked at the stone pillar and suddenly lifted his leg and walked toward it. What is Brother Lu doing? Mo-ing was stunned. Then, she saw Lu Ming reaching out his palm and placing it on the stone pillar. Is Brother Lu trying to test it? But this is the testing stone pillar of the Mo family. What's the use of him testing it? Mo Ying thought to herself. The other members of the Mo family were even more shocked. Who is this kid? What is he trying to do? This is the stone pillar used by the Mo family to test the compatibility of the ancestors' legacy. What is he doing? Is this kid trying to test the compatibility of the ancestors' legacy too? What a joke. He's an outsider. Brat, stop right now. The members of the Mo family at the side started to speak. Some of them even sneered. But in the next moment, buzz. The testing stone pillar shook violently and emitted a bright light. The light was more dazzling than the one caused by Mo Ying just now. Then, the light condensed into stars in the air. 1, 2, 8 stars. In the end, a total of 8 stars were formed. The eyes of all the Mo family members almost popped out of their sockets. Their bulging eyes were filled with disbelief. Each and every one of them trembled as they pointed at Lu Ming, unable to say a single word for a long time. Mo Ying's reaction was similar. Her small cherry lips opened so wide that one could swallow a duck egg. Her beautiful eyes were filled with astonishment. 8 stars, 8 stars. This brat actually has 8 stars of compatibility with the ancestors' inheritance. How is this possible? How is this possible? I'm dreaming, I must be dreaming. Pa! A crisp sound of a slap was heard. Why did you hit me? I was checking to see if you were dreaming. Turns out you weren't. Nest, an outsider actually has an 8-star compatibility with the ancestors' inheritance. This is truly blinding. The surrounding Mo family members had already lost their minds. This, heavens will bless our Mo family. Ha ha ha. In the pavilion, the white-haired old man was so excited that his body was trembling. His eyes were filled with ecstasy. I must inform the family head about this immediately. The white-haired old man whispered and then turned to leave. As expected. In the martial arts field, Lu Ming retracted his palm and fell into deep thought. Previously, he had discovered that this so-called test of compatibility with the Mo family's ancestors' inheritance was actually related to the dragon's bloodline. Lu Ming guessed that the Mo family's ancestor also had the bloodline of the cloud dragon or flood dragon. That was why Mo Ying had such a high compatibility. Lu Ming had the 9-dragon bloodline and could be said to be the ancestor of all dragons. Naturally, his compatibility was high. He had reached 8 stars. Unfortunately, Brother Lu is an outsider. Mo Ying sighed in her heart. Mo Ying, let's go. Lu Ming smiled. Mo Ying nodded and returned to the courtyard with Lu Ming. At this time, in a secret room of the Mo family, there was an urgent discussion. 2 days later, a middle-aged man came to Mo Ying's courtyard. Greetings, family head. Mo Ying and the rest quickly bowed. This middle-aged man turned out to be the family head of the Mo family. Little Ying, tomorrow, you will inherit the ancestors' inheritance. The family head of the Mo family did not beat around the bush and went straight to the point. Tomorrow? So soon? Mo Ying was stunned. Obviously, it was a little unexpected. A long delay may cause trouble. The sooner you inherit the ancestors' inheritance, the sooner you can carry it forward, then I can rest assured. The family head of the Mo family smiled and said very kindly. Thank you, family head. Mo Ying bowed emotionally. She was originally only a side-branch disciple of the Mo family. It was already extremely rare for her to be able to reach this step. Furthermore, she was going to inherit the inheritance of the ancestor tomorrow. In the Mo family, this was an unparalleled honor. At this moment, she was deeply grateful to the Mo family's patriarch. There's no need to be so courteous. The family head of the Mo family laughed heartily, then looked at Lu Ming and said with a smile, "I guess this must be young hero Lu Ming." "That's me." "Greetings, family head of the Mo family." Lu Ming held his fists together and said, "Ha, young hero Lu, there's no need to be so courteous. 2 days ago, you resonated with the testing pillar of the 8 stars. This news has spread to the entire Mo family. A miracle indeed." The family head of the Mo family exclaimed, then changed his tone and said, "Here, I have something that I need your help with." "You need my help? May I know what it is?" Lu Ming was curious. "I would like to invite young hero Lu to go with Moing to the place of the ancestors' inheritance and help her obtain the inheritance." The family head of the Mo family said. "Me?" This time, not only Lu Ming, but even Moing was surprised. "That's right. To be honest, inheriting the ancestors' inheritance is not a smooth journey. There might be some twists and turns along the way. Young hero Lu's compatibility with the Mo family's ancestors' inheritance is as high as 8 stars. With you following and helping Moing, there will be no mistakes. I hope young hero Lu can agree." The family head of the Mo family held his fists together and said, "You're being too courteous. Since I can help Moing, I will not refuse." Lu Ming said. "That's good too." Lu Ming also wanted to see what it was that caused the 9 dragons bloodline to cheer. Seeing that Lu Ming agreed, the family head of the Mo family was overjoyed. After chatting with the two for a while, he stood up and left. "Brother Lu, I'll have to trouble you again." Moing bowed slightly, her eyes were clear like water. A day's time passed very quickly. On the second day, the family head of the Mo family sent someone to pick up Moing and Lu Ming. Chapter 327. It is indeed deep within the Mo family. Lu Ming was surprised. The Mo clan's residence was filled with layers upon layers of buildings. It was unknown how many palaces there were. The two of them walked around for half an hour before they arrived at a dilapidated stone house. In front of the stone house, the Mo family head and a few white-haired elders had arrived. "Ha, Moing, young hero Lu, you are here. Under this stone house is the inheritance of our ancestors. When the door is opened, you can go in." The Mo family head smiled. Lu Ming and Moing nodded. "Let's begin." The Mo family head nodded to the elders. The figures of several old men moved and scattered around the stone house. Their hands shot out rays of light that disappeared into the stone house. The stone house began to tremble slightly and emitted rays of light. The stone house was covered with inscriptions. The inscriptions shone brightly. As the elders shouted, a stone door in front of the stone house opened abruptly. The moment the stone house opened, Lu Ming seemed to see a sea of blood surging towards him. At this moment, the 9 dragons bloodline seemed to be so excited that it was about to roar into the sky. This place is not simple. Lu Ming frowned slightly. Moing did not seem to feel anything unusual. She looked at the stone house with anticipation. "All right, Moing, young hero Lu, the stone door is open. You can go in." The Mo family head said. "Thank you, family head and elders." Moing thanked the Mo family head and elders sincerely. Then, she got up and walked towards the stone house. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. He followed Moing and walked in. When the two of them walked in, the stone door of the stone house closed automatically. "Ha ha ha, this is a success. This time, the Mo family will make a great contribution." When the stone door closed, the Mo family head laughed excitedly. However, there was no kindness on his face. Instead, it looked a little ferocious. In the stone house. After the stone door closed, the stone house was not dark. The walls of the stone house were inlaid with luminous stones. There was a large hole in the floor of the stone house. A stone staircase led down from the hole. Previously, the patriarch of the Mo clan had mentioned that the succession of the Mo clan's ancestor was located deep underground. The two of them did not hesitate and walked down the stairs. The staircase was very long, and it led downwards at an angle. After walking for about a kilometer, he saw a stone door. There were inscriptions flowing on the stone door, and it was overflowing with light. In the middle of the stone door, there was a pit. Mo-ing took out a jade token and shone it at the pit. Kacha! Immediately, the stone door creaked and opened automatically. Behind the stone door, there was another stone staircase that led downwards. The slope of the stone staircase was getting steeper and steeper until it was almost vertical. After walking for a while, she saw another stone door. Mo-ing drew a gourd and opened it with a jade token. This time, behind the stone door was a passageway. On both sides of the passageway were stone rooms. Lu Ming frowned slightly, because he could feel a chilling aura from these stone chambers. Why is this place so eerie? Obviously, Mo-ing felt it too, and she frowned slightly. Perhaps, it's because no one has been here for too many years. Lu Ming said. Mo-ing nodded and did not say much. The two of them continued to move forward. After walking for a while, the stone chambers disappeared and the passageway continued to move forward. After walking for another kilometer, they reached the end of the passageway, and a huge underground cave appeared in front of them. In the cave, the chilling aura was even more intense. In the middle of the cave, there was a huge pool. When they saw the pool, the two of them were shocked. This pool was not filled with water at all, but with bright red blood. Yes, the entire pool was filled with blood, and the smell of blood filled the entire underground cave. What? What is this? Is this the inheritance of our ancestor? Mo-ing said in shock and disbelief. Swoosh! At this moment, the blood in the pool surged violently. Then, the blood rushed into the air and condensed into two blood-red dragons that pounced on Lu Ming and Mo-ing. Roar! The two blood-red dragons roared, and the smell of blood filled their nostrils. The dragons' claws were as sharp as knives and they clawed at the two of them. Not good. Lu Ming's face changed. The demon-banishing spear appeared and stabbed out. Swoosh! Swoosh! Two spear radiants burst out and shattered the two blood-red dragons. Roar! Roar! However, the pool surged again and the blood in the pool condensed into blood-red dragons. This time, there were 8 of them. 8 blood-red dragons pounced on the two of them. How could this be? At this moment, Mo-ing finally reacted. She waved her hands to resist the blood-red dragons. Lu Ming's long spear shook and thrust out, destroying the blood-red dragons one by one. However, the blood-red dragons were not destroyed. They gathered together in the air and reformed into a blood-red dragon. At the same time, blood-red dragons continued to form in the pool and pounced on Lu Ming and Mo-ing. There was no end to them. Soon, Mo-ing was scratched by a blood-red dragon's claw, and a deep wound appeared. Boom! Lu Ming's aura exploded violently. He swept out his long spear and dozens of blood-red dragons exploded in the air. However, it was useless. After a while, they would reform. Since I can't kill them, I'll destroy this pool. Lu Ming strode forward, intending to blast the pool that was filled with blood. Clang! Clang! At this moment, the sound of metal clashing could be heard from the pool. It sounded like iron chains colliding with each other. Clang! 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 The clashing sounds became louder. The blood in the pool surged even more violently, creating a loud sound like a stormy sea. Roar! Roar! The crimson dragons uttered a series of roars and stopped attacking Lu Ming and Mo-ing. They flew back into the blood pond. Boom! Suddenly, there was a violent roar from the pool. The entire underground cave shook violently. It was as if there was an ancient giant beast in the pool that was about to break free. I'm not resigned to this. Suddenly, there was a loud roar from the pool. Lu Ming and Mo Ying's faces changed drastically. There was someone in the pool. I'm not resigned to this. The Yingyue imperial family is despicable and shameless. The Mo family is despicable and shameless. They framed me. I won't let you go even if I become a ghost. A loud roar came from the pool. It was filled with pain and unwillingness, as well as monstrous hatred. Clang! Clang! The clashing sounds of the iron chains became louder. The next moment, the pool suddenly surged violently and formed a human figure. The human figure was dozens of meters tall and huge. It looked like a burly old man. He roared to the sky, trying to break free from the shackles. However, he was surrounded by endless blood. Roar! Chapter 328. I can't accept this. The elder roared and struggled with all his might. Blood filled the air and the underground cave kept shaking. Lu Ming and Mo Ying looked at the scene in shock. The 9 dragons' bloodline's abnormal movement came from this pool of blood. Looking at the situation, it should be the blood of a flood dragon and even the soul of a flood dragon. Lu Ming's mind was racing. But what's up with that elder? Lu Ming could not figure it out, but one thing was for sure. This was not the ancestral inheritance that the Mo family had mentioned. Looking at Mo Ying's expression, it was obvious that she did not know either. He and Mo Ying had been deceived. The huge elder struggled more and more violently, as if he could break free at any time. Whoosh! Whoosh! At this moment, 2 old men with almost all their hair and faces full of wrinkles suddenly appeared on both sides of the cave. As soon as the 2 old men appeared, rays of dazzling light flew out from their hands. The light flew into the surrounding walls of the cave and inscriptions appeared on the walls. Countless inscriptions intertwined and formed an inscription formation. They condensed into strips of light and flew into the pool of blood. Suddenly, inscriptions appeared on the surface of the blood in the pool of blood and the huge flood dragon condensed by the blood. This greatly increased the power of the bloodwater flood dragon, and it immediately suppressed the huge old man's figure. Ah! Despicable Mo family, I can't accept this. The huge elder let out an indignant roar. Suppress! The 2 old men from the Mo family shouted softly and their bodies shone. They controlled the inscription formation to suppress the huge elder. Rumble. Although the huge elder struggled with all his might, it was useless and his movements were getting smaller and smaller. Start condensing. One of the old men from the Mo family shouted softly and the other nodded. The 2 of them moved their palms and dozens of flood dragons flew out of the pool of blood. They roared and pounced on Lu Ming and Mo Ying. What was different from before was that each of these bloodwater dragons had inscriptions flowing on their bodies. Clearly, they were more powerful. Elders, what are you doing? I'm a disciple of the Mo family. Mo Ying was shocked. However, the flood dragons did not stop and Mo Ying could only fight back. Bang! However, with just one move, Mo Ying was sent flying. Then, a bloodwater dragon coiled around Mo Ying, trying to drag her into the bloodwater pool. Elders, what are you doing? I'm Mo Ying, a disciple of the Mo clan. I'm here to receive the inheritance of my ancestor. Let me go. Mo Ying screamed in horror. Kill! Lu Ming shouted as he swept out with his long spear, causing the blood flood dragons to explode. Then, he grabbed the blood flood dragon on Mo Ying's body and squeezed it hard, causing it to explode. On both sides of the cave, the faces of the 2 Mo family elders changed. Their gazes towards Lu Ming were filled with killing intent. Blood refining array, kill! The 2 elders of the Mo family shouted loudly. The light of the inscription formation in the cave became even brighter. All of a sudden, hundreds of bloody flood dragons flew out and pounced on Lu Ming. Of course, these bloody flood dragons were only a few meters long and could not be compared to the huge flood dragon that was entangling the huge old man. Ha ha ha, little girl of the Mo family, don't expect to get out of here alive. What inheritance of your ancestor? They just want to use you to refine the Inua demonic leader. At this moment, the old man's laughter came from the bloodwater pool. Rumble. That sentence was like a clap of thunder that exploded in Mo Ying's heart. Her eyes were filled with disbelief as she screamed, "Use me to refine the Inua demonic leader? No, this is not true. I don't believe it. You don't believe it. The truth is right in front of you. Little girl, accept your fate. You have been deceived by a group of hypocrites." The old man in the bloodwater pool said. "No, this is impossible. Elders, is this true?" Mo Ying looked at the two elders of the Mo family. "As a disciple of the Mo family, it is your honor to be able to sacrifice for the Mo family. Why don't you surrender now?" The two elders of the Mo family said. Their faces were extremely cold and emotionless. Mo Ying staggered back as if she had been struck by lightning. Her eyes were filled with disbelief. The Mo family is despicable and shameless. They want to refine the blood and soul of a dragon into my body through the two of you. They want to refine me into a soulless, obedient puppet that only knows how to kill. No way, I will not surrender. The old man in the bloodwater pool roared. It's useless even if you don't surrender. This time, not only do we have a little girl with the cloud dragon bloodline, but we also have a kid who is more compatible with the dragon. With the two of them, we can definitely refine the Inua demonic leader. This is God's blessing for the Mo family. Yen Quan, this is your fate. Why don't you surrender now? One of the elders of the Mo family roared, "Fuck your head." The old man roared. Mo Ying's body trembled and her eyes were lifeless. It was as if her soul had been sucked away. It was fake. Everything in the past was fake. What genius of the Mo family? What key grooming? What ancestors' inheritance? It was all fake. The purpose of everything was to refine the Inua demonic leader. The reason was because of the cloud dragon bloodline in her body. No wonder the head of the Mo family invited Lu Ming in. He said that he would help her, but it was all nonsense. It was nothing more than that he had taken a fancy to Lu Ming's bloodline. Everything made sense. Boom. Boom. Lu Ming kept waving his long spear and blocking the bloodwater dragons. Mo Ying, cheer up. We don't need such a family. At most, we'll rebel. Lu Ming shouted. Mo Ying's body shook and then she recovered a little. She gritted her teeth and said loudly, "I'm the master of my own fate. I won't listen to other people's arrangements. Rebellious and stubborn. Become a part of the glory of the Mo family. Kill." The two elders of the Mo family roared and controlled the inscription formation. More bloodwater dragons flew out and pounced on the two. A bunch of hypocrites. Kill. Lu Ming shouted. Boom. His aura erupted like a volcano as a huge stone tablet appeared. 4 silver chakras were shining brightly on it. Lu Ming burst out with all his strength. Boom. The power of wind and fire gathered. With a sweep of his long spear, a large number of bloodwater dragons exploded. Level 4 King class bloodline. Who is this guy? An elder of the Mo family roared in shock. As far as he knew, there was no genius with level 4 King class bloodline in the entire Yin Moon Empire. Where did Lu Ming come from? Could he be a peerless genius from a medium-sized empire? No matter who he is, there's no way out today. Let's kill this guy first. The other elder of the Mo family roared. Okay, let's do it. The two elders of the Mo family pinched their hands. Roar. The huge bloodwater dragon that was entangling the elder let go of him and pounced on Lu Ming with a roar. Its aura was so strong that it shook heaven and earth. It gave people the feeling that it was much stronger than an ordinary martial artist at the 9th level of the martial arts grandmaster realm. It was unstoppable. Lu Ming's pupils shrank. He was about to retreat, but suddenly he stopped. Buzz! Chapter 329. The 9 Dragons' bloodline roared to the sky. Although the 9 Dragons' bloodline was only a dozen meters long, it looked very small in front of the bloody flood dragon. However, as the bloodline of the 9 Dragons roared, the bloody flood dragon suddenly stopped in the air. It looked at the bloodline of the 9 Dragons with fear in its eyes. The giant serpent's body began to tremble violently. It let out a roar and turned around to flee. However, it was too late. The 9 Dragons' bloodline roared and a strong devouring power burst out of its mouth. At the same time, the 9 Dragons' bloodline twisted its body like a flash of lightning. It instantly reached the top of the bloody flood dragon's head and shrouded it with a strong devouring power. The bloody flood dragon was terrified. It kept roaring and its huge body kept twisting. However, the 9 Dragons' bloodline steadily stopped at the top of the bloody flood dragon's head and kept bursting out its devouring power. Roar! The blood flood dragon roared as a flood dragon's soul was extracted from the body of the flood dragon that was condensed from blood. The first thing that appeared was the head of the flood dragon's soul. It kept roaring and wanted to shrink back, but it was useless under the devouring power of the 9 Dragons' bloodline. It was being extracted bit by bit. What's going on? What the hell is going on? An elder of the Mo family shouted in disbelief. Kill him! Kill him! The 2 elders of the Mo family gnashed their teeth and desperately urged the inscription formation to get rid of the 9 Dragons' bloodline and kill Lu Ming. Unfortunately, the huge bloody flood dragon was like a mouse meeting a cat when it encountered the 9 Dragons' bloodline. It did not dare to resist at all. The flood dragon's soul was constantly being extracted. Soon, more than half of the flood dragon's soul had been extracted. Boy, what are you doing? Why don't you stop? Stop right now. You're destroying the Mo family's 1,000-year plan. Do you know that? Stop right now. The 2 elders of the Mo family shouted hysterically. Ha, you 2 old dogs. You've lived for so long. Have you been living like dogs? Stop. And then use my life to complete the Mo family's 1,000-year plan? Have you fucking lost your IQ? And what's the Mo family's 1,000-year plan? What does it have to do with me? In my eyes, it's all trash. Lu Ming let out a long howl. The words of the 2 Mo family elders were simply too ridiculous. You are courting death. The 2 Mo family elders' shriveled faces flushed red, as if they were about to bleed from anger. They were the Mo clan's grand elders and were usually high and mighty. When had anyone dared to scold them like this? I'll kill this brat first. An elder of the Mo family roared. He temporarily stopped controlling the inscription formation and was about to attack Lu Ming. However, as soon as he stopped controlling the inscription formation, the old man in the pool of blood went berserk, and the underground cave began to shake. Damn it! The elder of the Mo family was unwilling, but he could only fly back to continue controlling the inscription array. Roar! At this moment, the 9 Dragons' bloodline let out an earth-shattering roar. Its devouring power suddenly increased, and the blood flood dragon's soul was pulled out. The flood dragon's soul roared again and again. Terrified, it struggled with all its might. No! Stop! The 2 elders of the Mo family roared. However, the 9 Dragons' bloodline opened its mouth and sucked the flood dragon's soul into its mouth, disappearing without a trace. The 9 Dragons' bloodline revealed a satisfied expression and flew back into Lu Ming's body. Damn it, let go of the flood dragon's soul quickly. The two elders of the Mo family screamed crazily like ghosts. Let go. You think too much. Lu Ming sneered. Boom. At this moment, the underground cave began to shake violently. The pool of blood in the pool of blood surged violently. Clang, the sound of iron chains colliding violently rang out. Not good, quickly suppress old monster Yen Quan. The two elders of the Mo family screamed in horror and desperately controlled the inscription formation to suppress the old man in the pool of blood. But, bang! In the next moment, there was an explosion. A figure soared into the sky from the pool of blood. It was an old man in his 60s. His face was covered with a long beard, and his body was extremely burly. He seemed to be more than 2 meters tall. The figure that was dozens of meters tall was not his real body, but a human figure condensed by true qi. Several iron chains as thick as an arm wrapped around the burly old man's body and extended out from the pool of blood. When the burly old man moved, the iron chains clanged. Not good, Yen Quan is about to break free. The two elders of the Mo family screamed in horror. Ha ha ha, the heavens are helping me. Mo family, today, I, Yen Quan, swear that I will destroy your Mo family. The burly old man laughed maniacally. Kill him, quick. The two elders of the Mo family roared and gave up on controlling the inscription formation. A battle sword appeared in their hands and they slashed at Yen Quan. The sword chi whistled and was extremely shocking. Peak of the 8th martial ancestor realm. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. The two elders of the Mo family were terrifyingly strong. They were both at the peak of the 8th martial ancestor realm. A mere 8th martial ancestor realm wants to kill me? You overestimate yourself. Yen Quan laughed and waved his palms. Two terrifying palms struck out towards the two elders of the Mo family. Bang! Bang! With two explosions, the two elders of the Mo family screamed and their bodies flew out like cannonballs. They crashed heavily into the walls of the cave and vomited large mouthfuls of blood. Clang! Yen Quan waved his palms and caused the iron chains to collide. A total of 4 iron chains bound him. He was too strong. Even when he was bound by the iron chains, he was still able to injure the two elders of the 8th martial ancestor realm. His strength was terrifying. You want to bind me with a few pieces of scrap metal? Break! Yen Quan shouted and a terrifying true qi burst out from his body as he pulled with all his might. Rumble! The entire cave shook violently and the ground trembled, producing deep rumbling sounds. Not good, Yen Quan is about to break free. Run! The two elders of the Mo family were so frightened that their faces turned pale. They turned around and ran towards the exit. Break! Yen Quan suddenly shouted loudly. He grabbed one of the iron chains and suddenly pulled it. Clang! The iron chain that was as thick as an arm broke into 2. This was not an ordinary iron chain but a rare black iron with inscriptions carved on it. However, it still broke with a single pull. You want to leave? Go and die! Yen Quan shouted. With a swing of his arm, a broken chain flew out and shot towards the two Mo family elders. Its speed was as fast as lightning, and it instantly caught up to the two Mo family elders. Block! The two elders of the Mo family roared and each used their strongest move. However, the difference was too big. Bang! Bang! 2 rumbling sounds could be heard and the two elders' attacks were destroyed. A section of the iron chain crashed into their bodies. Kacha! The sound of bones breaking could be heard. The two elders of the Mo family screamed and flew out. They fell heavily on the ground and were no longer breathing. At this moment, the entire Mo family was in chaos. Just a moment ago, when Yen Quan broke the iron chain, the entire ground of the Mo family shook violently as though there was an earthquake. What is going on? Many disciples of the Mo family panicked. The patriarch of the Mo family and a few elders were guarding the stone house. Other than them, there were a few more people. One of them was the young prince, Yin Jiufeng. Beside Yin Jiufeng, there were a few elders with powerful auras. At this moment, the patriarch of the Mo family's face changed drastically. Not good, there is a problem underground. Chapter 330. Quick, gather the clan's experts and get ready. The Mo family patriarch roared, his voice echoing throughout the Mo family. Whoosh! Whoosh! One figure after another flew toward the Mo clan from every corner. They were all martial ancestor realm experts. As one of the top 10 families of the Yin Moon Empire, the Mo family's strength was not to be underestimated. Apart from the martial ancestor realm experts, there were also some martial grandmasters gathering. In an instant, the front of the stone house was filled with figures. In the underground cave, break! Yan Quan roared, his genuine qi bursting forth like an ancient giant beast struggling. Clang! 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 3 crisp sounds were heard as the remaining 3 chains were broken by Yan Quan. Ha ha ha, after being trapped for more than 10 years, I'm finally free. Mo family, accept my revenge. Yan Quan laughed maniacally, his face revealing a sinister expression. After a while, he turned his gaze towards Lu Ming and Mo Ying. Swoosh! His figure moved and instantly appeared a few meters in front of Lu Ming and Mo Ying. Ah! Mo Ying cried out in fright and involuntarily took 3 steps back. Lu Ming did not move, but his pupils constricted. He held his spear in front of him, ready to fight. Ha, little girl, what are you afraid of? You saved me, why would I make things difficult for you? Yan Quan grinned at Mo Ying. Following which, he looked at Lu Ming and a look of surprise flashed in his eyes. Little brother, it's all thanks to you that I was able to escape this time. This is a huge favor and I have to repay it. However, now is not the time to talk about this. Let me exterminate the Mo family first before we talk about this. After speaking, Yan Quan laughed and strode towards the exit. Lu Ming's eyes flickered as he said, let's go out too. He and Mo Ying followed closely behind the old man and walked out. When he passed by the corpses of the 2 elders of the Mo family, Lu Ming silently devoured the blood essence of the 2 elders. The 3 of them walked forward. Soon, they walked out of the underground cave and returned to the stone house. Boom! Yan Quan struck out with his palm, and the stone door of the stone house exploded. Shattered rocks flew everywhere, and a series of exclamations came from outside. Looks like they're all waiting outside. Great, I don't need to look for them. Yan Quan grinned, his eyes filled with killing intent as he strode out. Lu Ming and Mo Ying followed. As soon as he walked out of the stone house, Lu Ming's expression changed. Outside, there were hundreds of people densely packed together. All of them had strong auras. They were all experts. The weakest among them was a martial grand master. Yan Quan. Seeing the 3 of them, the Mo family's patriarch and several elders' faces changed drastically, and they cried out involuntarily. Set up the formation, quickly. An elder screamed. Whoosh! Whoosh! Their figures flashed wildly as at least a few dozen martial arts grandmasters flashed and formed a battle formation. At the front of the battle formation was the Mo family head and a few elders. Mo Ying, how audacious of you! How dare you release the devils suppressed by the clan? This is unforgivable. The head of the Mo family shouted. Mo Ying's delicate body trembled. They were the ones who deceived Mo Ying and wanted to use her life to refine the Dark Moon demonic leader. However, as soon as they came out, the head of the Mo family pinned the crime of releasing the devils suppressed by the Mo family on Mo Ying. How shameless! Patriarch, you lied to me. There is no ancestor's inheritance below. You want my life, Mo Ing said in a trembling voice. Shut up, little bitch. You're wrong. How dare you talk back? Kneel down and accept your death. The head of the Mo family shouted, not allowing Mo Ing to talk back. He was no longer as amiable as before. Mo Ying's face was pale, and her delicate body trembled non-stop. She bit her lips so hard that they bled, but she did not realize it. Originally, she still had a glimmer of hope for the Mo family, but now, she was in despair. Ha, old man, you lied to your own disciple, saying that you're inheriting the ancestors' inheritance. In fact, you just want the life of a junior to refine the Dark Moon demonic leader. Even now, you're still so dignified. Are you a fucking dog? Don't you have any shame? Lu Ming laughed and pointed at the head of the Mo family. Little bastard, what did you say? How dare you talk to me like that? The head of the Mo family roared, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. What the fuck are you? Do I have to give you face when I speak? Don't flatter yourself. Lu Ming smiled faintly and looked at the head of the Mo family with contempt, as if he was really looking at a pile of dog shit. This kind of gaze almost made the head of the Mo family vomit blood. He was so angry that his body trembled non-stop. Ha ha ha, little brother, you've scolded well. The whole Mo family is a pile of dog shit, ha. Yan Quan laughed. Damn it, Lu Ming, you actually destroyed the refining of the Dark Moon demonic leader and ruined the plan of the Inue royal family. Even if you die 10,000 times, you can't make up for it. At this time, a scream filled with resentment sounded. It was Yin Jiufeng. Oh, isn't this the little prince? Why aren't you going home to drink milk? Do you want to be beaten again? Lu Ming curled his lips and said. This sentence almost caused Yin Jiufeng to suffer internal injuries. Lu Ming, if I don't kill you today, I swear I'm not a human. Yin Jiufeng shouted furiously. If I remember correctly, you also shouted like that last time. Why? Are you still a human? Lu Ming sneered. Ah. You, kill him for me. Yin Jiufeng's face turned pale and he almost exploded with anger. Kill. Behind Yin Jiufeng, two old men shouted and were about to pounce on Lu Ming. Who can you kill? Yan Quan shouted coldly and threw out a punch. Bang! Bang! The two old men exploded and Yin Jiufeng screamed in fear. Under the protection of the remaining two old men, he retreated. Let's attack together and suppress old demon Yan Quan. The head of the Mo family roared. Suppress old demon Yan Quan. Everyone from the Mo family shouted. More than 30 martial ancestor realm experts formed a large array and charged towards Yan Quan. Good timing. Today, I'll settle the score with the Mo family. Yan Quan shouted and charged towards the Mo family. Kill! Yan Quan shouted and his aura was shocking. He was like a demon god. He threw out a punch and a dazzling fist force charged towards the Mo family. Lu Ming could feel that Yan Quan's aura was no weaker than the sect leaders of the 5 major sects in the Burning Sun Empire. He was at the limit of a martial ancestor and was known as a half-king. 100 sword array, kill. The Mo family did not dare to be careless. More than 30 of them joined forces and their auras merged to form a huge sword that was a few hundred meters tall and slashed towards Yan Quan. Boom! The huge sword and the fist radiance collided and there was a loud explosion. The entire Mo family shook violently and some of the buildings nearby were blown into pieces by the shockwave. They were evenly matched in this exchange. Kill! Immediately, Yan Quan and the Mo family started fighting again. Kill this little bastard for me right now. Yin Jiufeng shouted. Shush! Shush! Behind Yin Jiufeng, the remaining two old men charged towards Lu Ming and they exuded a powerful aura. 8th Martial Ancestor Realm. Chapter 331. Now, let's see who can save you. Yin Jiufeng looked ferocious. However, there was a smile on Lu Ming's face. He stood there motionless. Roar! At this moment, there was a loud roar in the sky. A tall and burly figure fell from the sky and landed heavily between Lu Ming and the two elders, creating a large hole in the ground. Golden-eyed blood zombie. This tall figure was actually the golden-eyed blood zombie. I've finally arrived. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. Just now, when he came out of the stone house, he noticed the abnormality of the demon suppression token and found that the golden-eyed blood zombie was in the vicinity of Su Tiancheng, probably looking for him. He was not surprised that the golden-eyed blood zombie could escape from the assassins of the Yin Moon Empire. The golden-eyed blood zombie had reached the early 9th level of the martial ancestor realm and its body was like a diamond. If it wanted to escape, even a half-step king realm expert might not be able to kill it. When Lu Ming found that the golden-eyed blood zombie was nearby, he immediately used the demon suppression token to summon the golden-eyed blood zombie. He also deliberately chatted with Yin Jiufeng to delay time until the golden-eyed blood zombie finally arrived. Golden-eyed, kill them. Lu Ming ordered. Roar. The golden-eyed blood zombie roared and pounced. Pang! Pang! In just one move, the two elders of the 8th level of the martial ancestor realm that Yin Jiufeng brought flew back screaming. There was a claw wound on each of their bodies. Where the claw had clawed, the flesh and blood had disappeared, revealing the white bones. It was extremely horrifying. This scene was too sudden and Yin Jiufeng was stunned. Mo Ying, who was beside Lu Ming, was also stunned. She found that she could not see through Lu Ming at all. Since the first time she saw Lu Ming had brought her a series of surprises since Lu Ming said that Qi was divided into Yin and Yang. In her opinion, Lu Ming was a mystery, an unfathomable mystery. Now, there were experts of the 9th level of the martial ancestor realm that obeyed him. Monster, go, take the young master away. An elder roared. He wanted to rush over and take Yin Jiufeng away, but it was too late. The golden-eyed blood zombie roared angrily and rushed out. He waved his claws and the claw light slashed out like a few heavenly blades. Puchi! In just a few moves, the two old men were torn in half by the golden-eyed blood zombie. Ah! Yin Jiufeng screamed in fright, his face was as white as paper, his body trembling. The 4 experts that his father had sent to help him had been killed just like that, leaving him all alone. It's your turn now. Lu Ming smiled at Yin Jiufeng. But Lu Ming's smile, in Yin Jiufeng's eyes, was more terrifying than the devil. Patriarch Mo, save me, save me. Yin Jiufeng screamed in a hoarse voice. But the Mo family head didn't even look at him. What a joke. Save him. Right now, the Mo family was locked in battle with Yan Quan. They couldn't even take care of themselves, so how could they have the time to save him? It seems that no one will come to save you. Lu Ming smiled again, walking step by step towards Yin Jiufeng. No, Lu Ming, don't kill me. My father is the Zhennan king, he has a lot of troops. If you kill me, you will also die, and, Yin Jiufeng screamed. And what? Last time, I let you go because of the Mo family. This time, you want to use the Mo family to threaten me? And, you have tried to kill me many times, how can I let you go? Lu Ming's face finally turned cold. No. Yin Jiufeng screamed and turned to run. But Lu Ming flicked his finger and a spear light shot out, piercing through Yin Jiufeng's back. Yin Jiufeng screamed, lying on the ground, screaming again and again, but he was not dead yet. Lu Ming walked over and squatted down to look at Yin Jiufeng. Save me, save me. Yin Jiufeng struggled, blood flowing out of his mouth. Save you? I will tell you another secret, then you will not ask me to save you. I have another name, Tianyun. Lu Ming smiled faintly, whispering in Yin Jiufeng's ear. What? Yin Jiufeng's pupils suddenly widened, revealing a look of despair. He growled, Champion. Champion. Before he could say the word Marquis, he had already died. The Burning Sun Empire's champion Marquis Tianyun, there was no one in the Yin Moon Empire who did not know him. He had killed several powerful legions of the Yin Moon Empire. His name was known throughout the Yin Moon Empire. When Yin Jiufeng heard that it was Tianyun, in despair, he breathed his last. All around, the great martial masters of the Mo family looked at Lu Ming in horror, not daring to attack. Boom! Boom! Between heaven and earth, there was only the sound of Yan Quan and the Mo family's battle echoing. The battle between Yan Quan and the Mo family was still going on, and it was hard to tell who would win. It had to be said that the 100-sword battle formation set up by the Mo family was indeed powerful. With the combination of more than 30 martial ancestor realm experts and the Mo family's master's cultivation of the 9th level of the martial ancestor realm, they were actually able to fight Yan Quan to a draw. Roar! At this moment, the golden-eye blood zombie growled beside Lu Ming, his eyes constantly looking in the direction of the stone house. You want to absorb the blood? Lu Ming understood what the golden-eye blood zombie meant. The golden-eye blood zombie was very eager for the dragon blood in the underground cave. Go! Lu Ming whispered. Swish! Receiving Lu Ming's order, the golden-eye blood zombie rushed into the underground cave with a swish. On the other hand, Lu Ming stood still and watched the battle while refining the blood essence. Lu Ming's body had devoured the essence blood of several 8th-level martial ancestor realm experts. Everyone stared at Lu Ming, dumbfounded. Their eyes were filled with horror and disbelief. A single roar from his bloodline had actually devoured the bloodline power and blood essence of over 100 people. What kind of ability was this? He was simply a demon. Demon, you are a demon. Someone from the Mo family shouted. What demon? In my opinion, your Mo clan is the real devil. All of you deserve to die. Kill! Yan Quan roared as he charged towards the Mo family. The two sides once again engaged in a fierce battle. Mo Ing looked at Lu Ming in horror. I never thought that after the 9 dragons bloodline evolved to the king level, its devouring power would be so terrifying that it could directly devour living people. Even Lu Ming himself was shocked. In the past, it could only devour the blood essence of those who had died in battle. Now that the 9 dragons bloodline had evolved to the king level, it could even devour living people. Those martial artists were only martial masters. I wonder if it would be effective against martial artists above the martial ancestor realm? At the thought of this, Lu Ming cast his gaze towards the Mo clan's martial ancestor realm experts. Let's give it a try. Immediately, Lu Ming controlled the 9 dragons bloodline and the terrifying devouring power enveloped the Mo clan's martial ancestor realm experts. Immediately, some of the martial ancestor realm experts with lower cultivation levels trembled and their bloodline power became unstable. What kind of power is this? The martial ancestor realm experts roared as their genuine qi exploded wildly to resist Lu Ming's devouring power. It is more effective against martial artists below the 4th martial ancestor realm as it can affect the stability of the bloodline. It is also effective against martial artists above the 4th martial ancestor realm, but it is relatively less effective. In an instant, Lu Ming came to a conclusion. For martial artists with lower cultivation levels than him, it was still effective. It could affect the circulation of their bloodline, but it could not devour their blood essence and bloodline power like a martial grand master. It would be blocked. For martial artists with a higher cultivation level than Lu Ming, it was also effective, but the effect was relatively small. However, it was not to be underestimated. If his opponent's bloodline and blood essence were affected in a big battle, their combat strength would be greatly reduced. Be careful. At this moment, the Mo clan head roared. Due to the influence of Lu Ming's bloodline's devouring power, the Mo clan's 100-sword battle formation became unstable. Yan Quan seized the opportunity to attack fiercely and was at a disadvantage. The Mo clan will be destroyed today. Yan Quan roared as his attacks were like a tidal wave. Hold on, hold on. Yan Quan has been suppressed for more than 10 years and is heavily injured. This is only a temporary eruption. He won't be able to hold on for long. When he can't hold on any longer, it will be our time to counterattack. At that time, everything will still be under our control. The Mo clan head roared. Everyone from the Mo clan calmed down and used all of their strength to stabilize the situation. Yan Quan's face was somewhat gloomy. His situation was indeed as the Mo clan head had said. He had been suppressed for too long and suffered all kinds of torture. There were many hidden injuries on his body. Now, he was only using a secret technique to erupt with his peak strength. However, he wouldn't be able to hold on for long. Once the secret technique's duration was up, he would fall into a passive situation. Immediately, Yan Quan used all of his strength and attacked with all his might. Ha! Yan Quan can't hold on any longer. Just as I guessed, we can hold on. The Mo clan head laughed and revealed a joyful expression. Boom! At this moment, a huge explosion sounded from the ground behind the stone house. Following which, a blood-colored pillar of light shot out from the ground and pierced through the clouds. Shwa! Following which, a tall and sturdy figure rushed out from the blood-colored pillar of light. Golden-eyed blood zombie. This figure was the golden-eyed blood zombie that had gone to the underground cave to absorb the flood dragon's blood. However, the aura emitted by the golden-eyed blood zombie was extremely terrifying. It was not any weaker than Yan Quan's. This was the aura of a half-step king. Who would have thought that after absorbing the flood dragon's blood, the golden-eyed blood zombie would advance from the 9th level of the martial ancestor realm to the half-step king level? Furthermore, it had only taken such a short time. After being stunned for a moment, Lu Ming was overjoyed. Golden-eyed, kill them. Lu Ming pointed at the Mo clan members. Roar! The golden-eyed blood zombie roared and pounced towards the Mo clan members. Not good, block it, block it. The Mo clan head's face changed drastically. Ha ha ha, the heavens want your Mo clan to die. Die. How could Yan Quan miss this opportunity? He laughed heartily and attacked the Mo clan members. Devour. Lu Ming controlled the 9 dragons' bloodline again and a powerful devouring force was used on the Mo clan members. Boom! Boom! 2 explosions sounded. Following which, screams rang out. Some of the Mo clan members who were only at the 1st or 2nd level of the martial ancestor realm were directly killed by the terrifying energy. Even those with higher cultivation were greatly shaken. Chapter 333. Under the combined attacks of Yan Quan, Golden-Eye Blood Zombie, and Lu Ming, the 100-sword battle formation of the Mo family collapsed. 7 or 8 martial ancestor realm 1st and 2nd realm experts were instantly killed. Not good. Run, run. At this moment, the Mo family head was terrified as he roared crazily. The 100-sword battle formation had been broken and the other side had 2 half-step king realm experts. There was no need to fight. If they stayed, they would definitely die. After the Mo family head roared, he turned into a ray of light and fled crazily into the distance. You want to leave? No one can leave. Yan Quan roared as he chased after the Mo family head. In a few breaths, he caught up with the Mo family head. Yan Quan. The Mo family head roared as he launched a frenzied counterattack. However, the difference between an ordinary martial ancestor realm 9th realm and a half-step king was obvious. In just a few moves, the Mo family head was beaten until he coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. Die! Yan Quan shouted as he grabbed the head of the Mo clan's patriarch and twisted it, twisting his head off. Ha ha ha, kill, kill, kill. Yan Quan roared with laughter as he continued to chase after the others. Whoosh! Whoosh! On the other side, Lu Ming's long spear was constantly thrusting. Streaks of spear radiance shot out and pierced a few martial ancestor realm 3rd and 4th realm Mo family martial artists into sieves. The golden-eye blood zombie's body flashed rapidly as it waved its claws and tore the Mo family martial ancestor realm experts into pieces. This was a massacre. The Mo family martial ancestor realm experts were as weak as babies in front of the golden-eye blood zombie and Yan Quan. Even if there were some who managed to escape, they would be caught and killed. Lu Ming did not have the slightest bit of mercy. The Dark Moon Empire and the Burning Sun Empire were at war and were originally enemies. Moreover, it was the Mo family who wanted to take his life first. Since they were enemies, there was no need to show mercy. Being merciful to the enemy was being cruel to oneself. Kill! Lu Ming held his long spear and fought while bathed in blood. He had broken through to the 4th realm martial ancestor realm. Martial ancestor realm experts were no threat to him. Little bastard, even if I die, I'll drag you down with me. A 7th martial ancestor realm elder from the Mo family roared as he charged towards Lu Ming. Roar! The 9 dragons' bloodline roared, and a terrifying devouring power acted on the old man, causing his body to slow down. Whoosh! Lu Ming rushed over, the long spear piercing through his heart, creating a large hole. A one-hit kill. Then, the essence blood and bloodline power all flew into the 9 dragons' bloodline's mouth. In the sky above the Mo family, screams rose and fell. Not far away, the Mo clan's martial masters, warriors, and even those with lower cultivations were frantically fleeing in all directions. Lu Ming did not kill these people. These people hadn't seen Lu Ming's bloodline evolve, and they posed no threat to him, so there was no need to kill them. At this moment, Su Tiancheng fell into a deathly silence. Countless people were hiding in their homes, trembling. After a while, the screams stopped. The dozens of martial arts grandmasters from the Mo family were all killed. Roar! The golden-eyed blood zombie roared. Blood chi rose from his body, and his body turned red. However, his eyes were even more dazzling. Mo Ying stood there in a daze as she scanned her surroundings. Corpses came into her sight, and her eyes were filled with complicated emotions. In this short period of time, her life had undergone earth-shaking changes. These people were the elders of the Mo family that she respected. However, she suddenly found out that these people were just using her. For a moment, she found it hard to accept. Lu Ming did not speak. He just stood there quietly. After a while, Lu Ming said, "Miss Mo Ying, I'm leaving. What are your plans?" Although Mo Ying had seen his bloodline evolve, he could not do such a thing as killing Mo Ying to silence her. Mo Ying's body trembled, and she seemed to have come to her senses. She squeezed out an ugly smile and said, "Brother Lu, I plan to leave the Yin Moon Empire and travel the world." Lu Ming nodded and said, "That's good too." Lu Ming knew that Mo Ying held a grudge against him. After all, Mo Ying was a member of the Mo family. Lu Ming had killed so many people from the Mo family. It was normal for Mo Ying to hold a grudge against him. Therefore, Lu Ming did not invite Mo Ying to go with him. "Brother Lu, we'll meet again if fate wills it," Mo Ying said softly. She glanced at the Mo family, then turned into a ray of light and disappeared into the sky. "Ha, little brother, I can't bear to part with you." At this moment, Yan Quan appeared beside Lu Ming. "No, I'm just lamenting. Sometimes, fate is unpredictable," Lu Ming said with a smile. "That's right. Fate is unpredictable. That's why we have to cultivate martial arts to break the shackles of fate and fight against the heavens. Yan Quan grinned and said, "Little brother, this time, it's all thanks to your help that I was able to escape. If you have any requests, feel free to ask. As long as it's within my means, I'll do my best." Lu Ming shook his head and said with a smile, "Senior, you're being too polite. It's just a coincidence. That won't do. In my life, I've always repaid kindness with kindness and hatred with revenge. Otherwise, I won't feel at ease. This time, it's all thanks to you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to escape and would have been refined into the Inua Devil Lord, sinking into oblivion forever. This is a great favor and I have to repay it," Yan Quan said stubbornly. This, Lu Ming's eyes flashed. To be honest, Yan Quan's combat strength was extremely powerful. It would be a lie to say that he did not want to ask Yan Quan for help. After pondering for a moment, Lu Ming said, "Senior, please stay by my side and help me for a period of time." "Is that possible?" "All right, I'll stay by your side and help you for 10 years. After 10 years, we'll be even. How about that?" Yan Quan said. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He hurriedly cupped his fists and said, "Thank you, Senior." The current situation in the Burning Sun Empire was complicated. With Yan Quan's help and the Golden Eye Blood Zombie, Lu Ming had the strength to protect himself. Only then could he become a true overlord in the Burning Sun Empire. He would also have the strength to contend with the 10 Direction Sword faction. One had to know that in the Burning Sun Empire, a half-step king was the strongest. The Burning Sun Empire had not produced a true king for several hundred years. Yan Quan grinned. In fact, Yan Quan was also extremely curious about Lu Ming. At such a young age, not only was he extremely powerful, but he also had a powerful existence like the Golden Eye Blood Zombie by his side. Yan Quan had lived for so long, but this was the first time he had encountered such a person. "Senior, to be honest, I'm actually not from the Inua Empire, but from the Burning Sun Empire. Moreover, the Burning Sun Empire and the Inua Empire are currently at war. I wonder if Senior would mind," Lu Ming said. "War between the two empires? It just so happens that the Inua Empire's royal family is despicable and shameless. They tried to assassinate me. I'm just about to settle the score with them. Heading to the Burning Sun Empire and killing the experts of the Inua Empire is exactly what I want." Yan Quan laughed. "All right, then let's go," Lu Ming said. Subsequently, the Golden Eye Blood Zombie and Yan Quan turned into a ray of light and disappeared, heading towards the Moon City. On the way, Lu Ming roughly explained his identity and the current situation. "As for the other hidden injuries, I should be able to make a full recovery soon," Yan Quan said. "That's great," Lu Ming said with a smile. After that, the three of them continued their journey. With their speed, it only took half a day to return to Full Moon City. Of course, on the way, Lu Ming put on his mask again and returned to the appearance of Tianyun. "The Marquis is back." When the Scarlet Blood cavalrymen in charge of patrolling the camp saw Lu Ming, they cried out in pleasant surprise. Then, the news of Lu Ming's return spread throughout Full Moon City at a crazy speed, causing a huge sensation. Whoosh! Whoosh! Two figures shot through the air at an extremely fast speed. It was Autumn Moon and Xian Yanqing. "Young master." Seeing Lu Ming, Autumn Moon was incomparably excited. She wasn't afraid of being shy and threw herself into Lu Ming's arms. Tears flowed down like pearls, and she cried like a pear blossom in the rain. Young master, you're finally back. We saw the traces of the battle at the place where Goldeneye was cultivating. We thought you. Woo-woo, it's great that you're back." Autumn Moon cried loudly. Strings of tears flowed down, wetting Lu Ming's clothes. Silly girl, your young master is blessed. How could something happen to him so easily? Moreover, I can't bear to part with my family's autumn moon. Lu Ming stroked Autumn Moon's hair and said softly. Only then did Autumn Moon feel a little better. She left Lu Ming's arms, but her eyes were red and tears were still rolling. On the side, Xian Yanqing gritted his teeth when he saw this scene. He didn't say anything. Humph, you're so comfortable. You're so warm and soft as soon as you come back. After a while, Xian Yanqing gritted his teeth and said. Shaoqing, now that my arms are empty, do you want to try? Lu Ming blinked and smiled. Try your head. It's good that you're not dead. Xian Yanqing continued to snort coldly. Ha, I still owe you a favor. How can I die before I complete it? Lu Ming laughed. Humph, it's good that you remember. Xian Yanqing snorted again. At this time, Hua Ying and the other Qi Xia cavalry warriors appeared one by one. Then, it was Ming Meng, Miangcheng, and the other two siblings. Greetings, Marquis. When they saw Lu Ming, they all bowed. No need to be so polite. Let's go back to the camp. Lu Ming waved his hand. On the way, Yan Quan saw the majestic Qi Xia cavalry and his eyes flashed with a strange light. However, Lu Ming frowned. Because he found that the entire camp was heavily guarded and the atmosphere was very heavy. Did another big battle happen recently? Hua Ying, how's the situation? Did another big battle happen? I feel that the atmosphere in the camp is not right. When they arrived at the camp, Lu Ming asked. Marquis, something big happened. This was Hua Ying's first sentence. His expression was very heavy. Lu Ming raised his eyebrows and looked around. He found that Ming Meng, Miangcheng, and the others all had heavy expressions. Lu Ming had a bad premonition and asked, Tell me, what happened? Marquis, the Ghost Moon Saber sect was destroyed. Hua Ying replied. What? Even with Lu Ming's calmness, his body shook violently and his eyes showed disbelief. The Ghost Moon Saber sect was one of the 5 great sects of the Blazing Sun Empire. It dominated the northern part of the Blazing Sun Empire and was incomparably powerful. How could such a powerful force be annihilated just like that? Even if the 10 Directions Sword sect attacked with all their strength, they might not be able to take down the Ghost Moon Saber sect. What the hell is going on? Lu Ming took a deep breath to calm himself down. Marquis, 10 days ago, the Yin Moon Empire sent out 2 million troops to invade the territory of the Ghost Moon Saber sect. The Ghost Moon Saber sect sent out a large number of experts to resist. However, they never expected that at this time, a large number of experts from the Omnidirectional Sword sect would launch a surprise attack on the Ghost Moon Saber sect. At the same time, a portion of the Ghost Moon Saber sect had already surrendered to the Omnidirectional Sword sect. They attacked the Ghost Moon Saber sect from the inside. Afterwards, the 10 Directions Sword sect sent out many experts to attack the Ghost Moon Saber sect's experts together with the Yin Moon Empire's experts. The Ghost Moon Saber sect was caught off guard and their experts were all killed. The Ghost Moon Saber sect was completely destroyed. Hua Ying explained. So that's how it is. I understand. This was a trap set from the beginning. Lu Ming suddenly understood. Obviously, the 10 Directions Sword sect had cooperated with the Yin Moon Empire long ago. Therefore, the Yin Moon Empire's army attacked. Their goal was to attract the Ghost Moon Saber sect's experts so that they could prepare to attack the Ghost Moon Saber sect. Unfortunately, last time, the Yin Moon Empire had suffered great losses because of Lu Ming's sabotage. They did not attract many Ghost Moon Saber sect's experts. Therefore, there were assassins who tried to assassinate Lu Ming. Moreover, there were people from the Shadow Wolf Pavilion among the assassins. After thinking about it, everything became clear. 10 Directions Sword sect, you 10 Directions Sword sect. Chapter 335. Marquis, the annihilation of the Ghost Moon Saber sect has shaken the entire Burning Sun Empire. We're in the north, not far from the Ghost Moon Saber sect. We're afraid that the Decimo Sword sect will attack us, so we're on high alert. Hua Ying explained. After the annihilation of the Ghost Moon Saber sect, the Yin Moon Empire's army has moved south and occupied a large part of the Burning Sun Empire's territory. I guess that's what the Decimo Sword sect promised the Yin Moon Empire. They're really a bunch of traitors. Ming Meng gritted his teeth. Then, did the Decimo Sword sect make any new moves during this period? Lu Ming asked. Not yet. Hua Ying said. Pay attention to the news from the outside world. The Decimo Sword sect's actions have shaken the entire empire. The other sects will definitely join forces. This isn't good news for the Decimo Sword sect. So, the Decimo Sword sect will definitely make a big move. Lu Ming analyzed. At this moment, Ming Meng's expression changed slightly. He moved his hand and a jade token appeared. This was a 1,000 miles voice transmission talisman. Usually, a general would have one to send messages. When Ming Meng saw the message from the 10,000 mile sound transmitting talisman, his body shook violently. His face suddenly became incomparably pale, without a trace of blood. How could this be? Ming Meng roared, his eyes were filled with disbelief. Brother Ming, what's going on? Lu Ming asked hurriedly. He had a bad feeling in his heart. The Sky Suppressor rebelled. He led the army to break into the imperial capital and flattened the palace. The emperor was killed. Ming Meng said in a trembling voice. What? Ming Meng's words were like a bolt from the blue. Most of the people present, including Lu Ming, were shocked. Lu Ming, Hua Ying, and the others' faces turned pale. The Sky Suppressor, the Decimo Sword sect. Lu Ming roared, his killing intent surging. The Sky Suppressor couldn't have done it alone. Needless to say, the Decimo Sword sect was behind all this. Traitor, traitor, how dare the Sky Suppressor? How dare he? Hua Ying roared hysterically, his eyes red. He was a member of the imperial family. He almost went crazy. The Sky Suppressor's banner is to eliminate the incapable emperor and rebuild the Burning Sun Empire. Ha, how shameless. Ming Meng laughed in anger. Father, mother. Lu Ming's first, Lu Yuntian. How were Lu Yuntian and Li Ping doing in the general hall? At the thought of this, Lu Ming was burning with anxiety. Master, master, master and madam and the others. By the side, Qiu Yu grabbed Lu Ming's arm tightly. Her entire body was trembling slightly and she was extremely worried. Big brother Ming, is there any other news? Imperial family's emperor, is alive. Lu Ming forced himself to calm down. He sect king from the sect. Yes. Hua Ying and the others accepted the order loudly. Rumble. Not long after, Lu Ming rode on the red blood-scaled Wolf King, followed by Xian Yanqing, Qiu Yu, the golden-eyed blood zombie, Yan Quan, Hua Ying, Ming Meng, and the rest. He led 30,000 red blood armored cavalry out of the military camp and arrived outside Full Moon City. In front of them, smoke and dust filled the air. A majestic army appeared in their line of sight. Black war horses, black armor, and black weapons. Between the heavens and the earth, a black torrent of steel spread over. A large flag with a divine sword embroidered on it fluttered in the wind. That is the Ghost Iron Army of the Ghost Moon Saber sect. It seems that the Ghost Iron Army has already joined the Shifang Sword sect. Ming Meng's expression changed. That large flag was the flag of the Shifang Sword sect. Lu Ming nodded. After the Ghost Moon Saber sect was destroyed, some of the army under the Ghost Moon Saber sect had joined the Shifang Sword sect. This was normal. Rumble. The Ghost Iron Army stopped a few miles away. Their aura was heavy and dense. Looking at their numbers, there should be no less than 100,000 people. Shwa! Shwa! A few figures flew out from the Ghost Iron Army and hovered in the air above Lu Ming and the others. There was a total of 3 people, an old man and 2 middle-aged men. They all carried battle swords on their backs. With one look, one could tell that they were experts of the Shifang sword sect. The 3 of them emitted an extremely powerful aura. A peak 8th martial ancestor realm and 2 peak 7th martial ancestor realm. Chapter 336. The 3 men from the Decimo sword sect glanced at Lu Ming and the others before fixing their eyes on Lu Ming. "You're Tianyun?" the leading old man asked. "That's right," Lu Ming said indifferently. He wanted to see what they were up to. "Tianyun, you've repeatedly gone against the Decimo sword sect and killed our geniuses. Do you know what you've done?" The leading old man stared coldly at Lu Ming. "Do I know what I've done? I haven't even told you that I've killed your bastards. How can I know what I've done? What's wrong with that?" Lu Ming replied indifferently. He didn't take them seriously at all. "You," the leading old man's face turned pale and he emitted a cold killing intent. After a while, he calmed down and waved his sleeve. "Tianyun, there are no eternal enemies in the world. There are only eternal interests. Today, I'll give you a chance to redeem yourself. As long as you lead the Red Blood Cavalry and submit to the Decimo sword sect and make a blood oath to be loyal to us, I'll consider letting you go. All the crimes you've committed in the past can be written off." After the old man finished speaking, everyone understood what he meant. Now that the Red Blood Army was powerful and famous in the Inua country and the Scorching Sun country, the Decimo sword sect was going to recruit Lu Ming. Lu Ming sneered. "You want me to let you go? Who do you think you are? You're just an old bastard. Do you really think you're a big shot? Well, are you done talking nonsense? If you're done, you can die." Lu Ming glanced at the old man and lost his patience. "Little bastard, since you refuse a toast, I'll kill you today. After killing you, the Red Blood Army will still belong to the Decimo sword sect. Die." The old man's face darkened completely. He shouted and slashed out with his sword. This slash revealed the old man's strength of the 8th martial ancestor realm. It had the power to break mountains and rivers. It was extremely shocking. "Oh no, be careful!" Ming Meng shouted. "Young master! Get out of the way! Marquis!" On the autumn moon, Xian Yanqing, Huaying, and the others were all shocked. No matter how strong Lu Ming was, it was impossible for him to be a match for a martial artist at the peak of the martial arts grandmaster realm. But Lu Ming rode on top of the crimson blood scale Wolf King, motionless. "Die!" The old man revealed a ferocious expression. The sword light became even more resplendent as it rapidly slashed towards Lu Ming's head. Seeing that it was about to behead Lu Ming, the old man was overjoyed. "What kind of peerless genius is that? What kind of genius is that? What kind of genius is that? You're still going to die in my hands." But as soon as he thought this, he saw a slap coming from beside Lu Ming. Bang! When this slap landed on his sword light, it was as if the sword light was made of tofu and instantly shattered. The old man was stunned. Ming Meng, Autumn Moon, and the others were also stunned. "It's just a fly making a big fuss here. It's so annoying." Yan Quan appeared beside Lu Ming and said indifferently. That slap just now was naturally from Yan Quan. Who are you?" "I'm an elder of the Decimo sword sect." "How dare you?" The old man from the Decimo sword sect was stunned for a moment before he shouted. But before he could finish, Yan Quan slapped him again. Slap! No one could see how this slap was delivered. It was too fast. They only saw a blur before they heard a crisp slap. Then, they saw the old man from the Decimo sword sect cry out in pain as he was sent flying. In the air, his head was like a watermelon as it exploded with a bang. Red and white matter splattered everywhere. Ming Meng and the others almost bit their tongues as their eyes almost popped out. An expert at the peak of the martial arts grandmaster realm was considered a top expert in the Blazing Sun Empire. In the 5 major sects, he was definitely a superior existence. His status was even higher than an ordinary golden-robed elder. Ordinary golden-robed elders were only at the martial arts grandmaster realm. An expert at the peak of the martial arts grandmaster realm was slapped to death with a single slap. That was too shocking. The old man beside Lu Ming was actually such a terrifying expert. Previously, when Ming Meng and the others saw Yan Quan, they had only guessed that he was an ordinary martial arts grandmaster. They had never expected him to be so terrifying. Then, they looked at Lu Ming with even more respect. How did Lu Ming manage to have such a person by his side? The remaining 2 burly men from the Decimo sword sect were scared out of their wits. At that moment, they shouted and turned to run. You want to run away in front of me? How is that possible? Yan Quan laughed coldly as he threw out a punch. Boom! Boom! 2 bursts of fist force shot out. The 2 burly men at the peak of the martial arts grandmaster realm were drowned by the fist force. When the fist force disappeared, there was nothing left of the 2 burly men. Yan Quan had easily taken care of 2 experts at the peak of the martial arts grandmaster realm. Once again, everyone was dumbfounded. Only Lu Ming was an exception. What a waste, what a waste. Lu Ming was heartbroken. Yan Quan's punch had even burned their blood essence. How could Lu Ming not be heartbroken? Those were 2 experts at the peak of the martial arts grandmaster realm. The commotion here naturally shocked the Ghost Iron Army several miles away. Oh no, Tianyun has made his move. Kill them all. Of course, there were experts from the Decimo sword sect in the Ghost Army. At that moment, they roared and led the army to charge at Lu Ming and the others. Charge, destroy them. Lu Ming shouted coldly. Roar! 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 The crimson blood-scaled wolves howled and their roars shook the sky as they charged at the Ghost Army. Their aura was so strong that it shook the heavens and the earth. Oh no, the mounts are frightened. Charge, beast, hurry up and charge. The howls of the 30,000 crimson blood-scaled wolves frightened the mounts of the Ghost Army and caused their formation to become unstable. In a short while, the crimson blood-scaled wolves had reached them. Boom! The 2 armies slammed into each other. At that moment, the difference between the 2 armies was obvious. The Ghost Army was like a piece of paper while the crimson blood-scaled wolves were like a blade. As soon as they collided, the Ghost Army was torn apart and this gap was rapidly expanding. Hold on, you trash! An expert from the Decimo sword sect shouted. What are you shouting for? At this moment, Yan Quan's figure appeared beside him. Ah! Help! Just as he was about to shout, his head was chopped off by Yan Quan. Yan Quan leaped through the army and killed the martial arts grandmaster expert. No one could stop him. A half-step king. Only a half-step king could stop him. It was simply cheating to kill a half-step king. The difference was too big and it was no longer something that could be solved by numbers. Unless there was a battle formation like the Mo family and dozens of martial arts grandmasters, they would be able to resist. Roar! Above Lu Ming's head, the 9 dragons' bloodline floated. With a loud roar, a terrifying devouring power erupted. Immediately, the power of bloodline and blood essence of hundreds of Ghost Legion soldiers were devoured. Wherever Lu Ming passed, corpses were left behind. This was a one-sided battle. The Ghost Army could not stop the crimson blood-scaled wolves at all. Immediately after, he also began to take action. He gathered his men, ordered some items, and led an army of more than 100,000 to the east, towards the immortal Gazing Pass. The crimson blood-scale wolf's speed was as fast as the wind, and it was not a problem for it to travel 1,000 miles in an hour. In a few hours, they had traveled 1,000 miles. Some of the cities along the way did not dare to obstruct the mighty Qixia cavalrymen in the slightest. Their journey was smooth and unobstructed. After passing through dozens of big cities, they quickly approached the Yutong Pass. The Yutong Pass was a famous pass in the north of the Burning Sun Empire. The pass was surrounded by steep mountains that were thousands of meters high. The Yutong Pass happened to be in the middle of two peaks. It could be said that the Yutong Pass was guarded by one man against 10,000. In history, the Yin Moon Empire had conquered many cities in the north, but they were all blocked outside the Yutong Pass in the end. Now, the general guarding the Yutong Pass was called Wan Xiu. He had a cultivation of the 6th martial ancestor realm and led 120,000 soldiers to guard the Yutong Pass. He dominated dozens of big cities and could be said to be a big shot with great power and influence. Moreover, he had long since joined the Shifang sword sect. Thus, his prestige was even greater. In the entire Burning Sun Empire, he was considered a top figure. Wan Xiu had a hobby. He liked to set up banquets on the walls of the Yutong Pass and invite famous people to come. Just like this, standing on the walls of the Yutong Pass, overlooking the vast land and listening to the flattery of others, he felt like he was the ruler of the world and had thousands of miles of mountains and rivers. This feeling fascinated him. Today, he set up a banquet on the walls of the Yutong Pass and invited more than 10 city lords and martial experts of the nearby big cities to come to the banquet. Several tables were set up on the walls. Congratulations, General Wan. Congratulations, General Wan. A pot-bellied middle-aged man raised his wine cup and congratulated Wan Xiu. Patriarch Shen, what's the good news? Wan Xiu asked even though he already knew the answer. Ha, General Wan is so humble. Everyone knows the current situation. Not long ago, the Shifang sword sect destroyed the Ghost Moon Saber sect. A few days ago, Sky-suppressing King broke into the imperial capital and killed Hua Jingxing. Now that there is a change of dynasty, it is certain. Now, the Sky Evil sect and the Shifang sword sect have joined forces and occupied the imperial capital. Now, only the Mystic Essence sword sect and the Crimson Cloud Valley can rival the Shifang sword sect. But in my opinion, the Mystic Essence sword sect and the Crimson Cloud Valley are no match for the Shifang sword sect. When the time comes, the Shifang sword sect will unify the Burning Sun Empire and become the ruler of the world. As a trusted subordinate of the Shifang sword sect, General Wan will prosper day by day. Isn't this worthy of congratulations? The pot-bellied middle-aged man laughed. Yes, Patriarch Shen is right. When the time comes, General Wan will rise to the top. Don't forget about us. At the banquet, other people also flattered Wan Xiu. This made Wan Xiu feel a little smug. He stroked a few strands of his sparse beard and couldn't stop smiling. Rumble. Suddenly, a dull rumbling sound came from the ground. The wine on the table started to sway slightly. Everyone's expression changed. Report. At this moment, a soldier in armor came to report quickly. What happened? Wan Xiu asked. General, there might be an army coming from the north. The armored soldier reported. An army is coming? How is it possible? The Ghost Moon Saber sect has been destroyed. Now, the north is under the control of the Shifang sword sect. Could it be the army of the Yin Moon Empire? Wan Xiu's eyes moved as he pondered. Impossible. I heard that the Yin Moon Empire and the Shifang sword sect have an agreement. They won't attack now. Then whose army is it? Wan Xiu's eyes kept moving. General Wan, there is another army in the north. That is the Crimson Blood Army led by the Marquis Champion Tianyun and the Mountain Suppression Army led by Ming Meng. Could it be them? A city lord of a big city guessed. Hearing this, other people's expressions changed greatly. Tianyun? Could it really be Tianyun? It is said that the Crimson Blood Army led by Tianyun is extremely powerful and invincible. The Yin Moon Cavalry is as weak as tofu in front of them. If it really is Tianyun's Crimson Blood Army, we should run for our lives. Another big city's city lord cried out in horror. Why are you panicking? People always like to exaggerate. In my opinion, Tianyun and his Scarlet Blood Cavalry have been exaggerated. What do you mean by invincible? They've just won a few battles by luck. Moreover, even if it is true, so what? In front of the Yutong Pass, even the strongest army can't break through. Tianyun's Crimson Blood Army can only obediently retreat in front of my Yutong Pass. If he wants to attack, I will let him die without a burial place. Guards, set up the defense. Wan Xiu was calm and composed. He sneered and gave the order. Soon, the Yutong Pass was filled with armored soldiers. That's right. The Yutong Pass cannot be broken through. I worried too much. The city lord of a big city let out a long breath. Rumble. The rumbling sound became louder. The whole world seemed to tremble. Roar. Roar. Chapter 338. There were countless crimson blood-scaled wolves. Each one of them was tall and strong, and each one was filled with killing intent. 30,000 crimson blood-scaled wolves, in addition to 30,000 martial master knights, gathered their auras together. That kind of aura was simply earth-shattering, like a tsunami a few hundred meters high, sweeping through the heavens and the earth, as if it could destroy everything. Wan Xiu's pupils dilated, and he showed a terrified expression. This is the Crimson Blood Cavalry? His voice was trembling, and his face was pale. Cold sweat poured down from his forehead. The other castellans were also trembling, and their faces were pale. They were full of confidence a moment ago, and thought that Yutong Pass was unbreakable. But when they saw the situation in front of them, their confidence collapsed. The crimson blood-scaled wolves were too terrifying. Wan Xiu had said that the outside world was exaggerating about the Crimson Blood Cavalry. Now, they only wanted to shout, what exaggeration? They were obviously looking down on the Crimson Blood Cavalry. Block it, we must block it. Wan Xiu shouted at the top of his lungs. Then, he turned around and ran away. Wait for me. The other castellans also turned around and ran away. Since all the generals had left, there was no suspense in this battle. Yutong Pass's dangerous terrain could not stop the Crimson Blood-scaled wolves. The Crimson Blood-scaled wolves originally lived on the plateau, and running in dangerous terrain was like running on flat ground. Half an hour later, Yutong Pass was flattened, and the Crimson Blood Cavalry whistled through, heading straight for the imperial capital. The Crimson Blood Cavalry had great endurance, and after running for half a day, they stopped to rest once. 3 days later, the Crimson Blood Cavalry had run for tens of thousands of miles, and were getting closer and closer to the imperial capital. Rumble. 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 There are cavalrymen coming. Huaying said. Could it be the Shifang sword sect? Someone guessed. But the answer was soon revealed. Horses neighed in front of them, and the crimson blood-scaled wolves' chi shook them, causing them to fall off their horses. Lu Ming and the others were speechless. This army's fighting strength was not that great. And there were not many of them, only about 10,000. Was it really the Shifang sword sect that had sent them? Was it a joke? Lu Ming led the Crimson Blood Cavalry, and stopped, and did not attack. After a long while, the troops in front were finally organized. A few burly men wearing iron armor rode out on green scale horses. Who are you? How dare you block our way? A short and stout man glared and shouted angrily. They did not recognize the crimson blood-scaled wolves' cavalry. That's right, unless the soldiers were near the border, it was normal for the soldiers near the imperial capital to not recognize the Qi Xia armored cavalry. I want to ask. Who are you? How dare you dare to block me? Shouted and shouted crimson of the king blood we crimson blood king with kings royal imperial orders crimson blood kings. The blood emperors. Crimson man. Crimson blood wolves scaled wolves' eyes. Cry crimson blood scaled. Crimson blood crimsons. Cry cried the short and fat man's eyes were filled with vigilance as he asked, Speak, who are you people? Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Kill. Leave the generals in front alive. Lu Ming roared as soon as the short and fat man finished speaking. Roar. Roar. Wolf howls resounded as the crimson blood-scaled wolves began their charge. Without the slightest suspense, the Qi Xia cavalry charged forward, and this army of 10,000 men was completely annihilated. Some died in battle, some fled, and some surrendered. The generals in the lead were all captured alive. You are the Qi Xia cavalry? At this time, the short and fat man seemed to remember something and shouted in horror. Your reaction isn't slow. All right, speak. Where is the 8th prince and the others? Lu Ming stared at the short and stout man and asked coldly. You are Tianyun. The short and stout man's body kept trembling, and his eyes were filled with fear. Speak. Lu Ming coldly shouted. I'll talk, please spare my life. The short and fat man screamed. Speak. Lu Ming's killing intent burst out, and it was incomparably cold. I'll talk, we received news that the 8th prince and his men are hiding in the East River mountain range. We were ordered to encircle and annihilate them. We are only one of the armies. There are many other armies that set out earlier than us. The short and fat man shouted. East River mountain range? Lu Ming's eyes showed a trace of anxiety. He shouted, Lead the way. Let's go to the East River mountain range. The short and fat man naturally did not dare to disobey. He immediately led the way, and the Qi Xia cavalry galloped towards the East River mountain range. The East River mountain range was not very far from here. With the speed of the crimson blood-scaled wolves, it was only 1,000 miles away. The East River mountain range was not very famous. Although it was vast, the mountains were not very high, and it was not very dangerous. There were also no powerful demonic beasts, and even ordinary people could step into it. There was a small hill surrounded by an army. There were at least 10,000 people surrounding the hill, and it was impenetrable. In the air, there were also more than 20 experts standing in the air. Hua Qi, I advise you to surrender. Don't make any useless struggles. You're doomed, and your fate is sealed. In the air, a big man with a battle sword on his back shouted. That's right, Hua Qi and the others were on the hill. There were about 2,000 of them, and all of them were in ragged clothes. Some of the bloodstains had not dried yet. It was obvious that they had gone through a fierce battle. Hua Qi stood at the front of the hill, and beside him stood a dozen middle-aged men and old men. Each of them had an extremely powerful aura, like a mountain. They were the only experts left in the imperial family. Behind them were two figures, Lu Yuntian and Li Ping. At this moment, the two of them were extremely haggard. Their faces were pale, and their bodies were weak. Lu Yuntian had lost his cultivation, and Li Ping was an ordinary person. The two of them had been escaping with Hua Qi and the others for a few days, and one could imagine how much hardship they had suffered. 8th Prince, you should escape first. With these seniors leading you, you still have a chance to escape. When you find ask him to avenge us. Lu Yuntian said to Hua Qi, Uncle Lu, how could I, Hua Qi, be the type of person to drag out an ignoble existence? Moreover, since Brother Lu has handed all of you over to me and he is fighting alone at the border, I must ensure your safety. Otherwise, how would I have the face to face him? Hua Qi smiled and stood straight. Lu Yuntian sighed. Brother Tian. Li Ping grabbed Lu Yuntian's hand tightly. Ping, I'm already satisfied to be able to see you again. It's a pity that I dragged you into this. Lu Yuntian looked at Li Ping and said. Brother Tian, I'm not afraid. As long as I can be with you, it doesn't matter whether I live or die. Li Ping said. Lu Yuntian looked at Li Ping with pity and said, I believe that Ming, will avenge us. One day, Ming, will flatten the Shifang sword faction. I believe so too. Chapter 339. Refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Hua Qi, I'll send you to accompany your damned father. The middle-aged man from Decimo's sword sect was enraged when he saw Hua Qi ignoring him. Murderous intent erupted from his body. Decimo's sword sect, you traitors. As long as I don't die today, I'll flatten Decimo Mountain in the future. Hua Qi's eyes flashed with murderous intent when the middle-aged man insulted his father. Ha ha ha, you think you can flatten Decimo Mountain? What a joke, the funniest joke I've ever heard in my decades of life. The middle-aged man laughed loudly. Moreover, do you think you can escape today? An army of 100,000 has surrounded the area within a few miles. My Decimo sword sex experts have sealed off the sky and the ground. You can't escape, and no one can come in, ha. The middle-aged man laughed mockingly. Is that so? Then how did I get in? Suddenly, a cold voice came from above their heads. Who is it? The middle-aged man abruptly looked up. High up in the sky, 3 figures stood in the air. One was a young man, one was an old man, and the third was a burly man shrouded in a black cloak and bamboo hat. On the hill, Hua Qi, Lu Yuntian, and Li Ping trembled when they heard the voice. They hurriedly looked up and cried out in surprise. Lu Ming. Ming, The 3 figures in the air were Lu Ming, Yan Quan, and the golden-eyed blood zombie. When they approached the East River mountain range, Lu Ming led Yan Quan and the golden-eyed blood zombie to search for Hua Qi's whereabouts and point out the direction for the Crimson Blood Cavalry. They quickly found Hua Qi's group from the sky. With their cultivation, the Decimo sword sex experts didn't notice them at all. Who are you? This place is occupied by my Decimo sword sect. How dare you come here without permission? Are you courting death? The middle-aged man roared angrily. He had never heard of Lu Ming's name before. Just now, he had just said that no one could enter and Lu Ming and the rest had appeared. It was as if he had slapped himself in the face. This made him angry out of embarrassment. However, Lu Ming didn't even look at him. His figure flashed and appeared beside Lu Yuntian and Li Ping. Dad, Mom, are you all right? I'm late. Lu Ming said in a trembling voice. When he saw Lu Yuntian and Li Ping, Lu Ming felt as though a huge rock had been lifted from his heart. Before seeing Lu Yuntian and Li Ping, he was really worried that something might have happened to them. Ming, we're fine. Why are you here? Don't worry about us. Leave. Li Ping said anxiously. Mother, don't worry. Since your son is here, they won't be able to touch a single hair of yours. Wait a moment, let's go together. Lu Ming at this moment, the sword-carrying man from the 10 Directions sword sect was so angry that his mouth was crooked. An aura that was as deep as the sea erupted from his body. Ha ha ha, Tianyun, I can't stop the expert you brought with you if you want to take a few people away. But if you want to take more than 2,000 people away, you must be dreaming. Ha ha ha. The middle-aged man laughed in disdain. Who said I only brought 2 people? Lu Ming smiled faintly. What? The middle-aged man was stunned. Ao. Ao. At this moment, wolf howls resounded through the sky. Rumble. Then, the earth rumbled violently. What's going on? The middle-aged man's expression changed greatly. This is... Hua Qi was startled, then he thought of something and was overjoyed. Kill! In the forest, shouts of killing filled the sky and the earth rumbled violently. Not good, it's the Qi Xie cavalry, Tianyin's Qi Xie cavalry. Block them, block them. At this moment, the middle-aged man seemed to have thought of something and his expression changed greatly. Block them? Can you block them? Qi Xie cavalry, listen to my order, kill without mercy. Lu Ming let out a long howl and gave the order. Kill without mercy. The Qi Xie cavalry roared, their killing intent surging. In the next moment, shouts of killing filled the forest. The army of 100,000 was completely stunned by the sudden attack of the Qi Xie cavalry. They could not form an effective counterattack. Chapter 340. The scarlet blood-scaled wolves could walk through the forest as if it were flat ground. Their battle power didn't decrease at all. It was a one-sided battle. The sword-bearing man's face paled as he roared, "Damn it, retreat! Retreat? Where are you going?" A cold voice sounded as Yan Quan appeared behind the sword-bearing man. "Old man, you want to stop me? Do you really think I'm a pushover?" The sword-bearing man was enraged as he slashed out with his sword. An incomparably resplendent sword light slashed towards Yan Quan. It was even stronger than the previous one. He wanted to kill Yan Quan in one strike and escape as soon as possible. He was afraid of being entangled by the golden-eyed blood zombie. But in the next moment, his pupils rapidly shrank. Yan Quan punched out, and a fist energy, vast and incomparably hot, bombarded towards him. Pang! The fist energy smashed into the sword light and shattered it. The fist energy didn't stop as it continued towards the sword-bearing man. How can this be? How can he be so strong? The sword-bearing man cried out in shock. His voice was filled with disbelief. He had already used his full strength in the previous strike. He had planned to kill Yan Quan in one strike, but he never imagined that it would be shattered by Yan Quan's fist. How can there be so many experts by Tianyin's side? Ah, I have to block it. I have to inform the sect master about this matter. The sword-bearing man roared as he used his sword to block. Clang! The terrifying fist energy smashed into his sword, causing it to tremble. His body violently trembled as he flew back like a cannonball, spurting blood from his mouth. Half-step king, this is a half-step king. The sword-bearing man was scared out of his wits as he turned and ran without thinking. I already said that you can't leave. Yan Quan sneered. His figure was like lightning as he caught up to the sword-bearing man in a few breaths. Boom! Boom! After a few punches, the sword-bearing man let out a miserable cry as several large holes appeared in his body. He died on the spot. Kill! Attack together! Hua Qi roared. On the hill, more than 2,000 people attacked together, charging towards the Decimo Sword School's experts and the army. Corpses were everywhere. Corpses were everywhere. The smell of blood was so thick that it could not be dispersed. It was like purgatory in the human world. The golden-eyed blood zombie roared. With a wave of his hand, he tore apart a few martial arts grandmasters from the 10 Directions sword sect. He opened his mouth and roared. The rolling blood chi was swallowed by the golden-eyed blood zombie. A thick blood chi condensed on his body. Lu Ming did not attack. He stood beside Lu Yuntian and Li Ping. There was no need for him to participate in this battle. Not long after, the forest was littered with corpses. Of the 100,000 soldiers that the omnidirectional sword faction had brought with them, only a small portion managed to escape. Most of them had remained behind. That was especially true of the omnidirectional sword faction's experts. Every one of them had been killed. Lu Ming, I knew you would come. Hua Qi didn't make a move as he came to Lu Ming's side. No one else heard them. Hua Qi, I didn't expect the 10 Directions sword sect to be so bold. When I heard the news, it was already too late. Lu Ming sighed. Now that things have come to this, I can only move forward. Sooner or later, I will make the 10 Directions sword sect pay with blood. Hua Qi gritted his teeth. Lu Ming patted Hua Qi's shoulder and said seriously, don't worry, your problem is my problem. I will definitely destroy the 10 Directions sword faction. This time, Hua Qi still brought Lu Yuntian and Li Ping with him. This made Lu Ming very touched, and he had already treated Hua Qi as his brother. I believe in you. Hua Qi revealed a smile, but in the next moment, his expression suddenly changed as if he had thought of something. Lu Ming, there's something important I need to tell you. What is it? Lu Ming asked. It's about the Mystic Essence Sword faction. Hua Qi said. Mystic Essence Sword faction? Lu Ming was puzzled. Yes, not long ago, my father received news that the Duanmu family of the Mystic Essence Sword faction had already sided with the Omnidirectional Sword faction. These years, they have been secretly working for the Omnidirectional Sword faction. If it wasn't for my father's spies in the 5 major sects, I'm afraid we wouldn't have found out. Hua Qi said solemnly. What? Lu Ming was shocked. Lu Ming, this matter should be absolutely true. My father originally planned to pass this news to the Mystic Essence Sword faction's sect master, but before he could do so, that bastard sky-suppressing king started to rebel. Hua Qi gritted his teeth. The Duanmu family actually sided with the Omnidirectional Sword faction? I should have thought of this. Lu Ming's heart rippled as he muttered in his heart. He had been suspicious for a long time. He knew from Hua Qi that the Silver Wolf Pavilion was an assassin group nurtured by the Omnidirectional Sword faction, and the Duanmu family's sect master had repeatedly sent assassins from the Silver Wolf Pavilion to kill him. He used to think that the Duanmu family had spent money to hire the assassins from the Silver Wolf Pavilion, but now it seemed that it wasn't the case. Not good, the Mystic Essence Sword faction is in danger. Suddenly, Lu Ming's expression changed. Lu Ming, I'm also worried about this. The Omnidirectional Sword faction has been scheming for a long time. First, it was the Ghost Moon Saber sect with the Omnidirectional Sword faction's spies, then it was our imperial family, and the sky-suppressing king was already a member of the Omnidirectional Sword faction. The Mystic Essence Sword sect was embroiled in a war. However, the Mystic Essence Sword sect had the home field advantage. With the 5 great academies as the base, they activated the 5 ultimate formation. With the 5 ultimate formations guarding, the 10 Directions Sword sect could not break in at all. The two sides fought fiercely for more than 4 days, but the Mystic Essence Sword sect was as steady as a mountain. But Lin Shui and the others never imagined that at this moment, the Duanmu clan would rebel. After destroying the 5 ultimate formation, they joined forces with the Omnidirectional Sword sect to attack the Mystic Essence Sword sect. The Mystic Essence Sword sect was caught off guard and suffered countless casualties. In the end, under the leadership of Lin Shui, they fought back desperately and barely managed to stabilize the situation. High up in the sky not far from the two of them, there were also 2 people engaged in an intense battle. The shockwaves from the battle between these 2 people were not the slightest bit smaller than Duanmu Canghai and Lin Shui's. They were also 2 half-step kings. One was from the 10 Directions Sword sect, and the other was from the Mystic Essence Sword sect. The Mystic Essence Sword sect originally had 3 half-step kings. Now that Duanmu-Shanghai had rebelled, there were only 2 left. Other than the peak battle in the sky, there were also fierce battles going on in other places. In the Vermilion Bird Courtyard in the south, the Vermilion Bird Courtyard's Dean Yen Lan and the White Tiger Courtyard's Dean Duanmu Pajuan were engaged in an intense battle. In the Vermilion Bird Courtyard, Mulans roared. Sword light surged and killed an expert from the 10 Directions Sword sect. By now, Mulans's cultivation had already broken through the martial ancestor realm. Moreover, it had reached a very high level. In the Azure Dragon Courtyard in the east, Zhang Muyun became one with his sword and fought an expert from the 10 Directions Sword sect. In the White Tiger Courtyard in the west, Ling Tian roared, Duanmu clan, I swear that I will never be on the same side as you. Ling Tian roared and rushed down the White Tiger Courtyard, his body covered in blood. In the sky above the Qilin Courtyard, the battle between the 2 young people attracted a lot of attention. Many people who were in the middle of the battle looked over from time to time. Because these 2 people were too famous in the Mystic Essence Sword sect. One of the 6 heroes, Feng Wuji. The other person was actually Duanmu Lin. At this moment, Duanmu Lin and Feng Wuji were in an intense battle. The 2 of them continued to attack and their power was extremely terrifying. Duanmu Lin is too shocking. He can actually fight Feng Wuji to a draw. Some time ago, Feng Wuji had already broken through to the 4th realm of the martial ancestor realm. I didn't expect Duanmu Lin to be on par with him. Shocking, this is too shocking. Many elders and deacons of the Mystic Essence Sword sect could not help but be shocked in the midst of the battle. Duanmu Lin was a rare genius and his cultivation speed was shocking. However, he still managed to catch up with the others who were constantly improving. Feng Wuji, this is your strength? You're really disappointing. If I was born a few years earlier, I would have trampled you under my feet. Duanmu Lin roared arrogantly. Duanmu Lin, no matter how strong you are, you're just a traitor. The world will punish you. Feng Wuji roared. What a joke. Feng Wuji, you're really ridiculous. History is written by the victors. Don't you know that? Duanmu Lin laughed loudly. The 2 of them continued to fight and it was extremely intense. In the sky, the battle between Lin Shui and Duanmu-Shanghai was getting more and more intense. Duanmu-Shanghai, you're too naive to think that you can destroy us. Lin Shui shouted angrily. Who said it's only them? At this moment, a domineering voice came from afar. Hiss hiss, then, a hissing sound could be heard. Hearing this sound, Duanmu-Shanghai was overjoyed and laughed. Ha, we're finally here. Whoosh! In the distance, a fiery red light flashed like lightning. In the next moment, the light disappeared and a huge and ferocious centipede appeared in the sky. This centipede was really incomparably huge. It was more than 100 meters long and was red all over. The most shocking thing was that it even had 3 pairs of huge fleshy wings. Both sides of its body were densely packed with claws. The claws cut through the void like blades. On the centipede's back stood dozens of figures. Each of them had a strong aura like a mountain. The person in the lead was wearing iron armor and his aura was as deep as the sea. Thousand-legged centipede, Yin Moon South Guardian Monarch. Lin Shui roared in disbelief. On the giant centipede's back was the Yin Moon Empire's South Guardian Monarch, Yin Tianjue. Ha ha ha, Lin Shui, how about we destroy your Mystic Essence Sword sect together? Yin Tianjue laughed. Despicable and shameless, you actually colluded with the Yin Moon Empire. Lin Shui roared angrily. What colluding? It's just cooperation. There are no eternal enemies in the world, only eternal benefits. Lin Shui, you're a sect leader. Don't you know this? No wonder you're defeated. Even if I die, I'll drag you down with me. Lin Xue's eyes flashed with madness. You want to drag us down with you? Ha, Lin Xue, you think too highly of yourself. Die. Yin Tianjue laughed out loud. His aura was like a mountain as he charged towards Lin Xue again. At the same time, Duanmu Canghai also attacked Lin Xue. Boom! Boom! Another 2 earth-shattering explosions. Lin Xue retreated again. He coughed out blood, and his face was pale. Facing 2 experts of the same level, he was no match for them. He was completely suppressed. They were both at the half-king realm and had cultivated force to the limit. They were both at the peak of the Burning Sun Empire and the Dark Moon Empire. Who was weaker than the other? Lin Xue was no match for the 2 of them. Ha, Lin Xue, die! Yin Tianjue roared. His battle spear pierced through the air and turned into a huge spear that was a few hundred meters long. He charged towards Lin Xue. Lin Xue, let me send you on your way. Duanmu Canghai sneered. His sword light shocked the sky. Endless energy burst out from his old body. A sword light slashed towards Lin Xue. At this moment heaven and earth shook violently. A blade light slashed over from afar. This saber beam was several hundred meters long and black in color. The most shocking thing was that when this saber beam slashed through the void, it was accompanied by a series of shrill screams that sounded like the screams of countless evil spirits. The target of this blade light was Yin Tianjue. Ghost King Purgatory Slash. Yin Tianjue exclaimed. His expression changed as he roared. He forcefully changed the direction of the spear in his hand and blasted it towards the blade light. Yin Tianjue's body trembled slightly as he took a few steps back. Every step he took would cause an explosion in the air. Whoosh! The blade light dissipated. An old man in a black robe embroidered with a black moon appeared in the air. Old Shengguan, it's really you. Yin Tianjue said with a gloomy expression. Ghost Moon Saber Sect's old ancestor, Shengguan Ming. Lin Xue was delighted. He thought that Shengguan Ming had died in the battle after the Ghost Moon Saber sect was destroyed. Now, it seemed that Shengguan Ming was still alive. Old Shengguan, I didn't kill you last time. This time, you're here to die. This is the will of the heavens. Yin Tianjue sneered. Yin Tianjue and the Decimo Sword Sect. I won't let you succeed even if I have to risk my life. Shengguan Ming's face was filled with hatred. He wanted to take revenge for the Ghost Moon Saber sect's destruction. Shengguan Ming, you old bones. You'd better die soon. At this moment, a cold voice came from afar. Then, a slender figure with his hands behind his back walked in the air. In an instant, he appeared in front of them. Qiu Wuyang. Lin Xue and Shengguan Ming's expressions changed drastically. The Decimo Sword Sect's sect master, Qiu Wuyang, was nearby. Shengguan Ming, I know you're not satisfied and want to take revenge. That's why I didn't make a move just now. I wanted to lure you out and get rid of you together. Qiu Wuyang said indifferently. His figure flashed as he, Duanmu Canghai, and Yin Tianjue formed a triangle, surrounding Lin Xue and Shengguan Ming. Lin Xue and Shengguan Ming leaned against each other, their expressions ugly. Qiu Wuyang had planned out everything in his plan. Every step was interconnected, leaving no chance for the Mystic Essence Sword Sect to survive. Ah! At this moment, a long howl came from below, piercing through the sky. Lin Xue and the others couldn't help but look in that direction. There, Feng Wuji and Duanmu Lin were fighting. However, Feng Wuji was no match for Duanmu Lin. He was covered in blood and one of his arms had been broken by Duanmu Lin. Ha, Feng Wuji, you're not the strongest person in the Mystic Essence Sword Sect. What 6 heroes of the Burning Sun? You're just a piece of trash. If I was born a few years earlier, you wouldn't have stood out. Duanmu Lin laughed as his aura surged. His cultivation had reached the 4th level martial ancestor realm. Boom! Duanmu Lin slashed out with his saber and Feng Wuji barely blocked it. He was sent flying 1,000 meters away and blood spurted from his mouth. Wuji! Lin Shui was extremely worried in the sky. Hehe, Lin Shui, you've been utterly defeated. Even in the younger generation, the geniuses of the Duanmu family are enough to crush you. It's time for the Mystic Essence Sword sect to change hands. Chapter 343. Lin Shui's face darkened. Lin Shui, I heard that Feng Wuji is the disciple you're most proud of. I'll let you watch him die in front of you. Qiu Wuyang sneered. At this moment, they were not in a hurry to attack. They wanted Lin Shui to watch Feng Wuji die. This way, Lin Shui would have a mental breakdown and it would be easier to kill her. Feng Wuji, today will be your doomsday. Duanmu Lin's long hair danced in the wind as he exuded an aura of supremacy. His eyes shone brightly, showing his arrogance. Boom! He slashed out with his saber again. Feng Wuji tried his best to block the attack, but he was severely injured and was no match for Duanmu Lin. His body was sent flying like a cannonball. A long wound appeared on his chest as blood flowed out. Wuji! Senior brother Wuji! Countless people in the Mystic Essence Sword sect shouted when they saw this scene. They wanted to rush over to help, but they were all entangled by their opponents and could not help. Ha ha ha! Qiu Wuyang, Duanmu Canghai, and Yin Tianjue laughed in the sky. A few figures looked up from below where Feng Wuji and Duanmu Lin were fighting. One of them was graceful and graceful. It was Lu Yao. The others were the experts of the Duanmu clan who were responsible for protecting her. Lu Yao was here to witness the rise of Duanmu Lin. At this moment, Lu Yao had a complicated look in her eyes. She was also surprised that the Duanmu clan had betrayed the Mystic Essence Sword sect. However, she felt relieved after thinking about it. That's even better. With the Duanmu clan replacing the Mystic Essence Sword sect, my status will be even higher in the future. Now that I've reached the 6th layer Martial Master realm, I'll be able to break through to the Martial Ancestor realm soon. At that time, I'll definitely awaken my King-class bloodline. That way, I'll be able to live together with Brother Lin. Lu Ming, do you see this? Brother Lin has already stepped on Feng Wuji, one of the 6 heroes of the Burning Sun. Even if you have some talent, how can you compare to Brother Lin? How can you be worthy of me? It's a pity that you're not in the Mystic Essence Sword sect and can't see this scene. If you can see this scene, how inferior would you feel? Lu Yao looked at Duanmu Lin who was in high spirits. His eyes were bright, filled with pride and anticipation. Feng Wuji, you are the first opponent I've ever fought against. Today, I shall step on your corpse and rise to the top. From now on, I shall soar into the skies and shake the world with my name. It's your honor to be able to become my stepping stone. In the air, Duanmu Lin looked at Feng Wuji with disdain, but he was still in high spirits. Duanmu Lin, you won't have the chance. Right at this moment, a clear voice sounded out from afar. Who? Duanmu Lin's gaze turned cold as he stared into the distance. Whoosh! 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 In the distance, 3 streaks of rainbow light shot over. Who are you? You are courting death. An expert from the 10 Directions Sword sect shouted and charged towards the 3 rainbow lights. Chi. A few claw radiances flew out and tore a few 6th Martial Ancestor realm experts from the Shifang Sword sect into pieces. Whoosh! Whoosh! When the rainbow lights dissipated, 3 figures appeared in the air. It's you. The Marquis of Champion Tianyun. Someone shouted the moment the 3 figures appeared. Everyone in the Mystic Essence Sword sect who was in the midst of a fierce battle was shocked. They could not help but look over. The Marquis of Champion Tianyun was famous in the Blazing Sun Empire. But why did he suddenly appear here? The three figures who had suddenly appeared were Lu Ming, Yan Quan, and the Golden Eye Blood Zombie. The Immortal Gazing Pass was not far from the Mystic Essence Sword sect. Lu Ming led 30,000 red blood armored cavalry and finally arrived at the Mystic Essence Sword sect after more than a day's journey. At this moment, Lu Ming, Yan Quan, and the Golden Eye Blood Zombie were the first to arrive at the Mystic Essence Sword sect. Lu Ming could not help but speak when he saw Duan Mulin's arrogant look. Duan Mulin's face turned serious as he looked at Lu Ming. Duan Mulin naturally knew of the Marquis of Champion Lu Ming's name. Moreover, Lu Ming had killed the Shifang Sword sect's genius, Qiu Changlai. Duan Mulin did not dare to underestimate Lu Ming. This guy actually came here. What about his red blood armored cavalry? Qiu Wuyang's face changed slightly. During this period of time, Qiu Wuyang knew that Lu Ming had led the red blood armored cavalry to the north of the Blazing Sun Empire to rescue Hua Qi. However, he had been busy dealing with the Mystic Essence Sword sect, so he did not send anyone to deal with Lu Ming. In his opinion, Lu Ming was just fooling around. After he dealt with the Mystic Essence Sword sect and the Red Cloud Valley, he could easily kill Lu Ming and his red blood armored cavalry. It's him. Lin Xue's eyes flickered, revealing a complicated expression. Tianyun, what are you doing here? Qiu Wuyang's voice came from the sky. Of course I'm here to kill you all. Lu Ming smiled faintly. As soon as these words came out, the hearts of everyone present trembled. Come to kill Qiu Wuyang and the others? What an arrogant tone. Ha ha ha, Marquis Champion Tianyun, you are indeed heroic. However, in my opinion, you have lost your mind because of your heroic spirit. Well, it is normal for you to lose yourself in your achievements at such a young age. You still want to kill us? What a joke. How about this? I see that you are a talent. If you join me now, I can consider putting you in an important position. In the future, you can become the Marshal of the Army and guard the Blazing Sun Empire. Qiu Wuyang said. What bullshit Marshal of the Army? Do you think I care about that? Qiu Wuyang, to be honest, I am more interested in your head. Lu Ming sneered. Presumptuous, you are courting death. Qiu Wuyang's face turned cold as murderous intent burst out from his eyes. He waved his hand and a shocking sword radiance slashed down at Lu Ming. Not good, Qiu Wuyang. You are shameless. Lin Xue's face changed and was about to help. Lin Xue, your opponent is me. Duanmu Canghai moved and blocked Lin Xue. On the other side, Yin Tianjue also stared at Shengguan Ming, preventing him from helping. What Marquis Champion? You dare to oppose me? You overestimate yourself. Die. Qiu Wuyang's eyes were cold. However, facing Qiu Wuyang's sword radiance, Lu Ming's face was very calm as he stood there without moving. It's over. Marquis Champion Tianyun, the hero of his generation, is he going to be killed like this? Many people sighed. No one thought that Lu Ming could survive. Qiu Wuyang was a half-step king, and only a half-step king could block the attack of a half-step king. However, how many half-step kings were there in the vast Blazing Sun Empire? At the very most, there were only a dozen or so. Now, who could save Lu Ming? Then, a scene that left everyone flabbergasted appeared. Beside Lu Ming, Yan Quan stepped out and punched out. Boom! Chapter 344. Bang! With a loud explosion, the fist energy in the sword light clashed, canceling each other out. Half-step king. That's a half-step king. Someone roared. Many people were shocked. They didn't expect that there would be a half-step king beside Lu Ming. Who are you? Qiu Wuyang's expression turned grave. Every half-step king was famous, and they were the overlords of a region. He knew every one of them, but he didn't recognize Yan Quan. Who am I? Well, it doesn't matter if I say it. I am Yan Quan. Yan Quan grinned and said. What? You are Yan Quan. Then this little bastard is the one who destroyed the Mo family and killed my son. As soon as Yan Quan's words fell, Yin Tianjue roared and looked at Lu Ming with a sinister expression. During this time, he had sent people to investigate, but they couldn't find the culprit. He only knew that Yan Quan had escaped. Now that Yan Quan had appeared in this place, the answer was obvious. Yin Tianjue, what are you shouting for? Your Yin Moon royal family is despicable and shameless. Today, I will settle this with you. Yan Quan looked at Yin Tianjue with killing intent. He took a step forward and confronted Qiu Wuyang and the others. The auras of 6 half-step kings intersected, forming a huge domain. Those below half-step king couldn't even get close. At this moment, Lu Ming looked at Duan Mulin and said with a faint smile, Duan Mulin, I just said that you won't have the chance to rise. Today, you will die. Tianyun, if you and I fight, both of us will suffer. I advise you to join the 10 Direction Sword faction. Now that the 10 Direction Sword faction is established, even if you have a half-step king protecting you, you won't be able to affect the overall situation. Duan Mulin looked at Lu Ming and said. With Tianyun's reputation, he didn't want to fight with him unless it was absolutely necessary. Both of us suffer. With just you. You really think highly of yourself. Lu Ming revealed a mocking smile. One move is enough to defeat you. Lu Ming took a step forward and approached Duan Mulin. Arrogant. Let's see how you can defeat me in one move. Great Sun Thunder Saber Slash. Duan Mulin roared and slashed out with his saber. The terrifying saber light was even more scorching than the sun, explosively slashing towards Lu Ming. Beast Dao Palm. Lu Ming whispered and struck out with his palm. A huge beast claw appeared and charged towards Duan Mulin. Bang! The beast claw collided with the saber light. The saber light was extinguished like a wisp of smoke. The beast Dao Palm's momentum did not stop. It carried astonishing power as it blasted towards Duan Mulin. How could this be? Duan Mulin yelled out in disbelief. He then unleashed his bloodline in a frenzy. Channeling all his strength, he slashed out with his saber. Block it for me. Duan Mulin let out a deep roar. The sharp saber light condensed into a sun. This is too shocking. Yan Lan laughed. How could this be? Duan Mupajuan, who was fighting against Yan Lan, shouted in disbelief. Lu Ming, you're finally back. I knew you would come back and fulfill your promise. Mulin's eyes were filled with joy. Lu Ming is back. Lu Ming is the champion marquis, he's Tianyun. Both the disciples and elders of the Mystic Essence Sword sect couldn't help but shout. This news quickly spread throughout the entire Mystic Essence Sword sect and the entire battlefield. No one would have thought that the world-renowned champion Ho Tianyun was actually the same Lu Ming who barged into the White Tiger courtyard and killed Lu Yunxiong and dozens of people from the Duanmu family more than a year ago. In the end, he was forced by the Duanmu family to withdraw from the Mystic Essence Sword sect. Many people still remembered the determination that Lu Ming had when he left the Mystic Essence Sword sect and the promise that Lu Ming had made. He would definitely return and kill Duan Mulin within 2 years. Now, it hadn't even been 2 years. In just a little more than a year, Lu Ming had returned. He had returned in a shocking manner. Duan Mulin had been defeated by him in one move. The return of a king. A true king, no matter where he went, no matter what identity he used, was destined to not be buried and would shine brightly. Lu Ming is back. As expected, I'm not as good as him. In the Azure Dragon Institute, Zhang Muyun sighed. Ha, I knew he would return. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.